Going live, going live. We should be live. Live. You're back with a Tech Yes City live stream. Welcome back, all you beautiful people out there. And today we're going to be doing the PC parts price watch. But of course, this month is just like every other month in 2021, where GPU prices have been affecting pretty much everything. So we're going to be building on live stream. We're going to be building two options if you want to, actually three options if you want to build a PC. So come and get relaxed, get in chat, and come and join on in. We're going to be having a bit of fun. And hopefully I've fixed my camera issues this time, because last time we had some teething issues with the camera, but I've changed a few things around. I turned off the autofocus for one, so we won't be going like blip, 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 blip. And then number two was I set the camera to 24 FPS for live streams, because we're going to go through a HDMI cable. So we got designs by IFR. What's going on, guys? I've got to bring that energy. Got to bring that energy. I could go. Actually, we can just we'll try. What's going on, guys? Feel that energy. Feel that energy. And it's if you're in Queensland, we just unfortunately we're in lockdown again, so it's probably a perfect time to tune on in. We'll talk about all things tech. But the biggest one here is, so Bryan, have you done any mods to the Stinger? Oh, okay, we'll quickly do a bit of questions. The only mod I've done is I put a little body kit on mine. So it's not even a body kit, it's just like these, I just wanted to make my Stinger look a little bit different. So it's got a rear flare, and it's got some side skirts and a front thingy. And but we're going to talk about this first piece of news here, because it's pretty big. Like, when you look at it, it has the ability, again, what we've said in the past, with Ethereum is where all the GPU mining is going. Everyone who's making money on GPU mining is mining Ethereum. And so from August 4th, they're doing what's called EIP 1559, aka the London hard fork. And so on this, essentially, they're turning the base fee, they're turning gas fees, which is what the miners make, into base fees, which the miners are no longer going to make. And so they're going to instead get incentive tips. And so what this means is that basically no one really knows how this is going to affect mining profitability. And so it's actually a pretty scary thing. When you look at it, all these guys that are buying GPUs, and a lot of these guys that are buying the GPUs, there's guys out there doing it as a career right now. They're starting up farms of hundreds and even thousands of GPUs, and no one even knows how this is going to affect the Ethereum profitability, which, as we've established in the past, is literally like where all the mining profit is. It's where all the volume is, and it's where all the market cap is in cryptocurrency right now for miners. All these other coins that we've spoken about, their daily transaction volumes cannot simply handle the amount of miners that there are out there looking for profit. So when we look at it, we've got someone here. This is the Tim Bako. So he's the core Ethereum developers. He said in an interview that the user base fees now account for somewhere between 25 to 75% of gas fees paid to miners. So if you're taking away these base fees, you could potentially be taking away 75% of the fees paid to miners. That's a massive drop in profitability. But at the same time, it's 25 to 75%. This is like, no one even knows. so that's why I'm saying with August 4th, what's going to happen? Again, this is the element of cryptocurrency, that roller coaster element, that at any given day, the rug could get pulled out, whether it's underneath the guys investing in the hard crypto themselves or the guys buying the GPUs for mining. So yeah, this is the big news, that if you're waiting, August 4th could potentially be a day of reckoning. Could potentially be a day of reckoning for GPU prices. It's just like, as it says here, the guy who's the core Ethereum developers, he doesn't even know. It just says 25 to 75%. So, I mean, so it could be like, usually you go somewhere in between 50%. But if mining profitability gets cut in half, if mining profitability gets cut in half, it's going to be better. It's going to spell better prices. But in the meantime, GPU prices, right? They're still pretty bad. Like 6700 XT, we're tracking that, still going for around 700 USD. But in the meantime, if you want to build a budget, and I'm talking real budget, and people are asking in the comments, like, you got a Linux build. Bryan, done any Linux build? I'm going to do one. Someone donated on the last stream. They were like, dude, do a Linux build. It's going to be happening. I'm going to get my... last time I did Linux, I tried it and I was like, I can't use this for video editing. So, I mean, me personally, I'm going to be honest, I rage quit Linux. Sorry. But we'll give it another go, especially if you're a budget gamer and you're looking for a different experience and you're sick of Microsoft, which is perfectly fine. Then maybe Linux gaming PC might do you well. But we got here, the first up, if you are on a strict budget and you just want something decent for gaming, and now don't, hear me out here. GT 1030. I never thought I'd see the day where I'd be saying that GT 1030 isn't such a bad buy. Never thought I'd be seeing the day, but if you're on a strict budget, here we go. i5 4440, 8 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte hard drive, $110. You just slap in a 120 gigabyte SSD. Go get yourself one of these little guys right here. GT 1032 gigabytes, $85. You got yourself a budget gaming PC. It'll play CSGO, play all these easy to play titles, Dota 2, all that stuff, and you're coming in around $200. Not too bad, not too shabby. Now, what I've calculated here, because the GPU prices are still pretty bad, what I've calculated here is we can put together a system for $400 with a 2200G. And that's not going to be great, right? $400, you're probably better off buying a Series S. Like you see here, Xbox Series S, $340. I mean, that's not that bad. Like if you really need a game with good frame rates at 1080p, the Series S is going to do the job. And for some of those like if you're playing Call of Duty or whatever, this thing should, I think it does support mouse and keyboard for a lot of the, especially the big games that everyone, like Fortnite, I know mouse and keyboard works on the Series S. So there's options out there if you don't want to get completely ripped off from the miners right now, or the whole GPU prices that is associated. But if you're looking to build a gaming PC, like, Bryan, I got to build a gaming PC. I have to build one. Then we'll go through some of the rigs that I was kind of surprised. I was like, okay, it's still pretty expensive, but this is something that's often overlooked, is something like an old HD 7870. It's 2 gigabytes, $75. This thing will do a pretty good job. And it's like, honestly, I know it's not much to look at, but it's only $75. If you're desperate and you need something, buy it now, and you can't look locally for some deals, this will do the job. Even though locally here, I'd be trying to pick one of these up for 50 Aussie dollars. It should be like maybe 38 USD. So it is a little bit overpriced, but at least you're not going to get completely obliterated. That's the whole point. So you're looking at 7870s, one GPU that's going under the radar, not getting focused, especially not getting focused by miners. So that's the whole name of the game right now. And then you can buy a H410 motherboard. Go get yourself I don't know why I've got an empty tab up there. But I put together 2 builds. So get an ES Gaming, 4 RGB ring fans. This is what it's all about. Marco asked, how do you install a Xeon on a Series S? You can't install a Xeon on a Series S. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. But the Xeons, they will make their play. The Xeons will make their comeback at Tech Yes City. The Xeons will come back once we see GPUs like readily, like the RX 570 used to be, or the RX 470 used to be on AliExpress, when you could pick them up for like $90, $80, and they were just all in stock on AliExpress. They were the good days. That's when you were coupling those things with the Xeon, and you were getting a really good PC, even like $350. You could build yourself something much better a year ago off AliExpress than you could now. So we got here 4 ring fans, $64, not too bad considering from the reviews here, the 2 guys are like, wow, the RGB lights up brighter than ever. And that's a good point if you want to resell your PC in the future. And then you got a 500 watt power supply, $40. You can't really go wrong at that price. And then an SSD, 512 gigabyte or 480 gigabyte SSD, and they're going for $50, which isn't too bad either. And then you got 16 gigabytes of RAM, $65, 3200 megahertz CL16. Now, Simba, I got no idea what is Simba. What is this brand name? It's like they should call it the Lion King But hey, if as long as the RAM itself is fine, I don't care what heatsink they put on it. That's $65. It's going to serve your build right now. All this tallied up. If you buy these, you'll get a PC that's around $400. Now, you can also go with the 2200G if you want something that's got better upgrade path, because the H410 is pretty much an end-of-the-line socket with the 11400F. You're not really going too far with that. Maybe put in a 10400F, get 6 cores, 12 threads, but you're not really going to be, in a H410 motherboard, you're not really going to be banging in the 9.9, are you? So you don't really have some upgrade paths, as opposed to going with the 2200G option. You will have a few upgrade paths, as well as a B450, which is a little bit cheaper. The B450 is coming at $64, so it's actually pretty good value. And both these builds are gonna go for around $400, which honestly, when I look at the prices of the GPUs, I'm kind of sitting here just disappointed right now, because like, if $400 for a 2200G build is just, it's bad. Like, it's not that good value, right? But that's kind of what you have to do right now. You kind of have to wait it out. But then again, you're just better off getting a Series X, an Xbox Series S, which is actually going to perform really well. You just can't build a PC right now off the internet that will beat a Series S. I mean, locally here, if you want to find the deals, and I always recommend going, Daniel Merrison, thanks for the new member. So sweet. Love the styles of videos. Thanks, man. We've got, last month, we've sort of been doing the whole new camera. I've got all this, I've got a bit of a new reinvigorated energy here, because put it this way, used, at least for the guys who want to get price performance, used is going to be pretty much the only way to go in the next few. As long as these GPU prices remain as high as they go, the miners are pretty much going to be strangling the rest of the industry. And you're going to see it's going to get worse. As long as these GPUs, the prices still remain high, a lot of the guys who are manufacturing motherboards, cases, you name it, RAM and all this stuff, they're going to be scratching their heads like, guys, we're struggling out here. We need to do something. So, I mean, companies like MSI and Asus and Gigabyte, they're doing pretty well. And that's mainly because they're bundling. And I know this from all the retailers that I talk to. They're bundling a lot of their parts. And that way they can get rid of their motherboards and all their other stuff, coolers, CPU coolers, power supplies, you name it, cases. So, or you could get a Steam Deck. Oh man, the Steam Deck's months away. So who knows when the Steam Deck's coming out? I mean, people are like, you gotta get a Steam Deck. I mean, I'm gonna wait and see with the Steam Deck. I'm gonna judge that once it comes out. I mean, I've sort of got mixed feelings. I mean, I like what Gabe's done with the hardware on the Steam Deck. I just think we could, is your hair purple? Kind of, yeah, it went red, and then you mix red with gray and brown, and yeah, I guess you get purple. I mean, if anyone's into painting, maybe they can mix a bit of brown, red, and yeah, gray together and let me know what color you get. This is what you end up with. So honestly, people ask me, why'd you dye your hair, man? Why'd you do it? I'm just bored. Like, I'm really bored. I want to get over to Japan as soon as possible. That's like a big thing on my mind right now. I've been like, every time I apply to get an exempt to see my son, I get rejected by the government. And, you know, I'm at the point now, I'm just like, I'm getting, like, if there's only one thing that I'm sort of frustrated about, it's the ability that I can't see my son yet. You've got these people that can jump on planes to go see tennis matches at their beck and call. So like, that's what I think a lot of people are getting frustrated with that crap right now. It's like, you know, hey, Tom Cruise, where you at, man? Yeah, just going to casually fly on a plane, see Wimbledon tennis match. You know what I'm saying? It's easy. Hey, Bryan, what are you doing? Trying to see my son, man. Just getting rejected. You got to stay in lockdown, dude. You got to stay down. Stay put, boy. And so I'm like, what's going on here? Anyway, start swimming. I think Godzilla's got, man, or I could jump on Godzilla's back and I could hitch a ride to Japan from Godzilla. So I know your pain, bro. I've been going gray since 16. Damn, Cletus, 16. I think I was going gray from about 28 or something, so it wasn't that bad. But yeah, the only thing, like, I want to go full gray. I just can't find gray hair dye. Like, I just want my hair to be consistent. I got like grays here and everywhere. That's the only thing about my hair. I just want consistency. As anything, right? If you buy a PC, you want it to boot up and stay booted up. No one likes inconsistencies. So the same should go for your appearance too. Anyway, well, yeah, we'll stick with chat a little bit, but let us know, what do you guys think in terms of, if you guys got questions as well, drop them in the chat and we'll address them. Because we're pretty much like, and when it comes to the GPU prices right now, we've pretty much addressed everything. Man, like we slugged through all the topics today. We've also got the channel sponsors as well. If you want to get the microphone that we're using for this live stream, people just keep asking for it. They're like, Bryan, what microphone do you use? And it's like, it's just the Elgato Wave 3, 150 bucks. You don't have to do anything. Just plug the USB in. And if you've got crappy onboard audio, another thing is too, is that this has got a headphone jack too. So you can plug in headphones to this and you'll get better sound than a really cheap motherboard. So if you're going with these used PCs, especially if they're laptops are renowned for having some of the worst onboard audio in the gig, then you can get a Wave 3 and it will save you. Not only when you're talking to people, doing live streams, whatnot, it'll also save your ears if you've got a decent pair of headphones, you want to get them powered decently too. Then we've got, of course, the Windows 10 key. You can use it for a Windows 11 key. Just bang that sponsor spot in, BFTYC, and you can watch that price go down to $14, even though we kind of got to like drop it down here because the chat's blocking off. There's the $14. So you drop in that BFTYC coupon code, snag yourself a key right here, right now, and you get it cheap, ladies and gentlemen. You get it cheap. And look at that. I changed my shipping address to Austin now, Texas, because I was having some problems checking out prices on parts by having it in Beverly Hills. I think Beverly Hills is in California. So I was having some problems there with Beverly Hills. And another thing we got to talk about too is in the last stream, we were having some issues where the camera was cutting out. I actually had a friend who messaged me recently. Bryan, I need to activate my Windows. You got any codes? Designs by i5, man. Links in description. Designs by i5, links in description, brother. Just use that coupon code BFTYC. You'll snag that discount. Single end user license, brother. Bryan, blame your Premier as she went to Tokyo when no one in your state wanted her to go. Yeah, I mean, I would have gladly switched places with her, and I could have just stayed over there and given you guys some used parts hunts in Japan. I could have been an ambassador, and I could have got to see my son in the process too. That would have been amazing. So actually, I'm going to call up the Queensland government. That's my local government here, and just complain and be like, yo, do you want an ambassador? But another thing on the news was I think Jay's 2 Cents made a video on like a PC, like what they're limiting certain gaming PCs being shipped to 4 states in the USA. Like what was the go with that? Like, I mean, talk about government regulation, overdrive here. Like what is the purpose of this? They're limiting power consumption on gaming PCs, or they're trying to make things more efficient. Yet I think that would be the least, like this is with governments, this is the least of their concerns right now. They're worried about implementing stupid restrictions in states, in places, when they should be worried about addressing people who are sick, the homeless, all these other things that matter to a society. Yet people are wasting taxpayer money on stupid restrictions on gaming PCs. I mean, like, yeah. I mean, way to go. Just pretend that everything's perfectly fine in the world right now. We need to strive. It's just like the people who have got tunnel vision and they're focused on the issues that don't matter when you should be focused on the issues that do matter. So I know it might be overblown, but it's like the process in the red tape. The process and the red tape involved is just why governments just right now, like nowadays, governments are doing a terrible job of everything. So, oh man. So anyway, we got questions. We'll get back to tech because yeah, no one really likes politics, but sooner or later you got to talk about politics. And yeah, I mean it comes in because everyone's paying their tax dollars. Everyone pays taxes for this crap. So soon, I think it affects everyone. You know, like for instance, in Australia, I work 4 months of the year, right? In Australia, I work 3 to 4 months of the year for the government. That's free work. And everyone, when you start thinking about your process of how you work, you are working for the government 3 months of the year, 4 months of the year, which is actually a scary thing for nothing. And that's how crazy the whole system is. So in some ways, you do have to talk about it. sooner or later. Stop only reading clickbait title video titles. Oh, well, thanks, man. I guess it worked then. Thank you for the compliment. That's awesome. Super upper nerd. I guess that worked then, brother. I got you to join the video. You clicked on it, man. So, hey, Bryan, is it okay to use a Strix B550F Wi-Fi motherboard with a 5900X? Yeah, definitely. The Strix motherboards, like from what I know, every time Zeus puts a Strix on it, it'll be absolutely fine. You could overclock on the Strix B550F too. Should be able to overclock absolutely fine for air and water overclocks. A lot of the motherboards now, I'm finding a lot of the motherboards are really sort of getting overkill, and they're trying to oversell the motherboards when, you know, like for instance, I just tested the Riptide. I mean, some people are like, look, don't get the Riptide, get a B450. And if you're looking for pure value, yeah, B450 is still where it's at on AMD's lineup of things. But if you're going for an X570, you want to overclock a 5950X, $180, that's all you need to spend on a motherboard, really. Just add a little Wi-Fi chip in it, and you get yourself a phenomenal board. So I was actually kind of impressed with that. There's all these boards out there for $400 or $500 that are really going to give you not a whole lot extra, and you're just going to be paying a premium. And a lot of times their VRMs are just designed to go to the stratosphere, which a lot of us, most overclockers just aren't even going anywhere near the stratosphere, especially if you got to do work on that overclocked rig. So California has a huge issue with too many people, too resources. Think Australia's power blackout issues and power costs. In the US, California cannot keep up with the people. Yeah, see, I don't know enough really. Like when it comes to the USA, like I'm only standing back and reading the news. But if I was living there, I'd be commenting a lot more on the situation because, as they say, the US is pretty much the butterfly's body, and then when the wings flap, the rest of the world gets affected by what the US does. Very true. Like you can see this with everything. US stock market crashes. Everywhere else in the world starts crashing. They implement policies in the US, and then later on in the rest of the world, they start wanting to implement the same policies. So in ways, the US is like the core of a lot of policy making and a lot of decisions in the world. It's just I don't live there, so I can't really comment on it too much. You know, you're the outsider looking in. But yeah, US politics affects the rest of the world big time. And I guess sooner or later you got to talk about it. But what are your thoughts about upcoming Radeon 6600 XT? Yeah, so I just think like the 6600 XT, they need a lot of them out. They need a huge amount of them out because it can be a good thing. Of course, the actual price and where a 6600 XT is going, right? If you look at a 5600 XT, that was $299, I think, MSRP. Does someone know the MSRP? Actually, we'll go check it out. The MSRP of the 5600 XT, what was that? And there's your Ethereum price. Look at this Ethereum price going crazy before this announcement. So there's some definite volatility going on here right before this August the 4th announcement. So who knows what could happen. I'm hoping that it'll go whoop off a cliff on August 4th. They might be, here's the final furlong. This might be the final furlong. But we got here the 5600 XT MSRP. What was it? 279. Okay, so we got here the 6600 XT. 5600 XT was 279. Now I kind of liked the 5600 XT. I thought it was a pretty solid card. Now we've got the 6600 XT MSRP is now it's going to be I heard it was 349, 379 seems to be the go. That's $100 MSRP increase on your 600 Series XT card. Like that's a huge increase for one generation of series card from AMD. That's insane when you think about it, right? And like when I'm hearing through the grapevine that basically after the 6600 XT, you're not going to get a 6500 XT. You're not going to get a 6500. You're not going to get any cheaper cards after this. They're pretty much just going to say, hey guys, the APUs are out there. The APUs only cost $200. If you want your $200 card, go get yourself an APU. That's what I think is going to happen with the upcoming GPUs, because pretty much and what this realizes is something that you sound like what's this? Bryan, what's crack lacking? Yeah, they should, Bryan apparently are holding back 3060 and 3060 Ti stock and dropping them just before the 6600 XT launch. Okay, NVIDIA could be doing that. I mean, it depends, right? It all depends on price. So I know 3060s can be had for a lot cheaper than the retailers are charging them right now, and I know that. So the 6600 XT is comparable to a PlayStation 5. A 6600 XT, right? It's going to be a decent card, right? It's going to perform well, but it's a generational improvement over the 5600 XT. That's the way things go. If you want to sell a new product, you should be giving it a better price than what the previous generation was. Either you're giving it more performance or you're giving it better price and performance. So with the 5600 XT versus the 6600 XT, it's going to be a very crucial comparison to do, because you'll see if that $100 is getting you really anything. And I don't think it will be. And I think it'll prove something that we've all been suspecting all along, but companies like AMD and NVIDIA won't admit it, and that is inflation. It's running up their underlying prices. The proof is in the balance sheets when they report on the margins. Intel's margins have gone down. If we look at AMD and NVIDIA's margins have stayed the same from a year earlier. And so what that means is that the price, if they're selling all these higher products that are priced higher, 3060 Ti's, 3070s, 3080s, even 3090s, if they're selling all these higher priced graphics cards that they usually make more margins on, why are their margins remaining the same? And the only answer is inflation. In other words, their costs have gone up, but they're kind of, no one wants to admit that this inflation is a bigger problem than it is. Everyone just seems to sit back and go, okay, inflation isn't a problem, but it is a problem. And you're seeing it with a 6600 XT in front of your very eyes, $379. AMD wouldn't release a card that high if they didn't have to, right? They know the demand's there from the so-called gamers. Gamers isn't, like, I'd say the gamers demand isn't really there. It's the mining demand. But at least the good thing about the 6600 XT is that it's a 128-bit bus versus 192 on the 5700 XT. So you can expect the hash rates not to be that high. So when we look at a GT 1030, which is still priced really well, like this card's actually like not coming too far over its MSRP. Like a GT 1030 is just a cheap card. It's in stock. Miners are definitely not going to buy this thing up whatsoever. It's not going to be worth it at all. So when you look at the demand of miners versus actual people wanting to buy these things and put them in gaming PCs, miners are still outnumbering gamers big time, where they've got their price floors at different levels. So AMD know this, but at least with the 6600 XT, your price floor is going to be a bit better for the gamers versus the miners. And I think that's one thing you got to establish now, and it's going to take a lot of market research, is where are the price floors for both? So where's the price floors for the miners? Where's the price floors for the gamers? And so you'll only really get that with the, you're seeing that with, like, if we look at this now, I'll show you in front of your very eyes. 3060 Ti, RTX 3060 Ti. You can see here, right in front of, like, you'll see in Australia right now, 3060 Ti's are coming down in price. Like, if you look at this one, this, I guarantee you, this will be an LHR version. Even though they don't say it in the title, this will be an LHR version. Well, I'm waiting for it. LHR, where are we at? Oh, he's not saying it. He's risking it. Because if this isn't an LHR version, someone buys it and they don't know it's an LHR version, they could be like, essentially you'll see here, a lot of people advertising these 3060 Ti's, they'll say if they're LHR or non-LHR. So if they're an LHR, they're pretty much not going to be selling. We'll actually go to the completed listings. That'll give us more of an idea so you guys can see it in real time. Completed items. And you'll just see, you'll see right in front of your very eyes what is going on. So LHR, $1,000, right? So that means the miners, really, that's a gamer buying that. And that's like, honestly, that's coming in at what? $250 Aussie. So you're paying a 33% premium over what that card came out for in MSRP in Australia terms. It's not too bad. So that's why it's not too bad right now. But then if we look at here, full hash rate. Look at this. Look at the difference just right here. Right in front of your very eyes. Full hash rate versus the not full hash rate. $400 difference. So then you're going to see these LHR cards. And this guy probably here, he's probably, this guy probably bought them for mining, and then they're like, oh, these are LHR cards, better reflip them straight away. Same here, you've got an LHR card, $1,200. So your cards that can be used for miners with unlimited hash rates are just going with at least a $200 premium. So there's the mining, there's the floors, right? There's the mining floor of what the miners are prepared to pay versus the gamers. Still way outnumbering, still way ahead, way in front of what they're prepared to pay. So that balance can only really come back once mining profitability goes down, and that's what it's all about. So we're waiting on mining profitability to drop. So, and you know, some guys will be out there and they'll be like, yeah, just mine like some random crypto, mine some random crypto currency, and it's like, people aren't going to bank on that. If you're spending serious money, which you are, like, I look at a lot of these miners, they're spending $1,500 on a card. They're not going to be like, oh, well, what can I go mine this no-name currency? No, they're going to be like, okay, Ethereum's the biggest sheriff in town. He's got the biggest knapsack. So we're going to go with Ethereum, and it's all related to the Ethereum profitability. So just watch out for that. Always watch. If you're looking for a graphics card and you're serious about buying one, either two things. Watch for an LHR card, which they're going pretty good. Like, you know, whoever picked this up for $1,000, they didn't do too bad. That's off eBay as well. 3060 Ti, I've seen one locally here for $900. It's not too bad. And 3060 Ti is going to give you a really good gaming performance. So right now, it's kind of like, it's becoming very found the nonce. this channel in mind found the. All right, guys, and thanks for the compliment or the diss. I don't know if it was which one you go on there for, but I'm just trying to help gamers out here. I'm trying to help gamers out who want to make an informed decision. That's all. Gamers who want to, they might save their money. You know, whoever thought that's a concept? Save your money, and gamers can then buy it. So anyway, guys, that's about it for the talking about graphics card prices this month. PC parts price watch. Everything except graphics cards is pretty much decently priced. There's no real big changes. The graphics cards themselves, if you're looking to get into PC gaming for a really good price, like if you're looking to get into PC gaming and you don't want to mess around, if you're looking to get into it, just be patient if you want to get a higher end card. In terms of lower end cards, we can really only hope that Intel comes out with the DG2. That's really the only hope right now. Intel's like, okay, we want to increase our market share, much like what AMD did with Ryzen. So that's the only thing that gamers on a budget for a $200 card, for a $200 graphics card that performs really well, new. That's the only thing gamers really have going is the Intel DG2 right now, because NVidia and AMD refuse to do it because of the underlying costs, but plus they can sell all these higher cards to miners still. So when they can still sell the 3060 Ti's, they can still sell 3060, 6700 XTs. Miners don't care. They'll just buy up anything as long as they can make profit on it. So even if it's an LHR card, if the price is right, if that 3060 Ti LHR went down to, say, $800, a miner would just snap it up. They don't really care. So that's the sad thing, right? Even if there's an LHR implementation, the miners are still going to buy the cards if the price is right for them while the profitability is high. So in the meantime, you can really only just sort of weed your way through. Now, I was talking about one card in particular in the parts hunt. Yeah, it's weird, right? Save us Intel. Like, whoever thought Intel could save the day? But it's just based on what you've seen with companies and how they work in the tech scene, right? When we look at AMD and what they did with Ryzen, they clearly went for a disruptive, they even said it in their presentations. They went for a disruptive approach. Everything they did was disruptive. They put the 6-core 12-thread Ryzen 5 1600, then they doubled down on the 1600, then they tripled down on the 3600. And everyone was loving what they did with those 6-core 12 threads. They brought it to the mainstream for a really cheap price, really competitive. And so Intel, if they want to branch into the GPU market, they're going to have to do the same thing. And if they're smart enough, they're going to say, well, there's a huge opening here for even $300 GPUs, $200 GPUs. And don't leave us. Give us more tech yes loving. I'll give you guys more tech yes loving. Don't worry. Just stay tuned. Just keep watching. We're live streaming, baby. Just keep watching. So basically what happens is that there's a huge market for Intel. And that's what I was saying. Intel is pretty much one of the only few guys that can save the day with the DG2. So that's where our hopes lie. But if you're looking for a decently higher end card right now, the 1080 Ti isn't too bad. This is what I've been seeing locally here. The 1080 Ti, it's still a solid card. Very good frame rates. I'd still call it a higher end card. And so these cards, you can have them. Someone went crazy for a Strix there. I'd say they overpaid a little bit. But you get $700 off eBay. I mean, locally, I picked one up for $600. So if you do your homework, you can pick up a 1080 Ti, put together a gaming PC, and people are like, oh man, I want to see what you do with that 1080 Ti. Yeah, I'm going to be putting together a budget gaming PC. So at the moment, it's all the whole market is just segmented. It's just a bit of a mess. And so if you don't know what you're doing when it comes to building a PC, you're going to get probably ripped off. But if you know what you're doing, watch some Tech Yes City live streams. There's a lot of other good YouTubers out there making videos on sort of what you can expect to pay if you look around and get some parts. Then look around, save some money, because the used market is literally the only thing keeping price performance going right now, because the whole new market is just a complete mess. Especially when it comes to buying a graphics card. But a 1080 Ti is not too bad. 1080 Ti, look at this guy. He got $640. He picked up a pretty solid deal there with the AMP edition. So there's some pretty good deals to be had. Just keep your eyes out, keep tuned, stay tuned, and you'll see what's crack-a-lackin'. Anyway, guys, we'll go over to Q&A. We'll answer some questions before I jump on out of here, because I might actually go pick up that other 1080 Ti, and I got to start a new build. So I will get on to doing a 1080 Ti build. So it's either going to be like, you guys let me know. Do you think it would be good with a Ryzen 5 1600? 1080 Ti might be it might be a tad little bit bottlenecked, but I'd say if I can tune the memory properly and overclock the 1600, then it might be a pretty good build. And a 1650 Super. Yeah, 1650 Super is fine for Warzone today. Yeah, 1650 Super is a really good card. It's a solid card. Actually, I was I was impressed with the 1650 Super as well as the 1660 Super. They did a really good job on those two cards. 2070 Super, 2080 Super, I wasn't too impressed. 2060 Super, they weren't really worth oh my god, this is a better upgrade sort of thing. They weren't that great, but the lower end Supers was where NVIDIA really nailed it with that Super lineup. Is the 960 worth $50? I found one and I don't know if I should buy it or not. Yeah, I'd go like a 960 for $50 is pretty good. I'd go snap that up personally. I think that's a decent deal. Just a question, what's the best Intel CPU right now? Intel CPU would be the 11400F or the 10700F. I like both those. If you're buying brand new and you can afford that, I'd go for the 11400F or the 10700F. Both really good CPUs for the money from Intel. Actually, you can check the price. We can check the price quickly right now with the 10700. Hold on. We can check the price right now with the 10700F. So you can get these for $299 in Australia. That's really cheap. Really cheap for a 10700F. And you might even be able to save. See, pulled out of a new Dell retail computers. That's really cheap. The 11400F. Because if you guys don't know, if you're looking at these numbers as well, I'll put it into perspective for you as well. I'll quickly just change this over. Hold on. 299 AUD to USD. $219 for an 8-core 16 thread. That's dirt cheap. Dirt cheap. And then you can also get 11400F for 161. And that's after tax as well. That's taxed. I think it's taxed and shipped. I think you add $25 on for shipping or something like that. But I think you might have got a discount on that 11400F and 10700F. So that's definitely the Intel CPUs to get right now. Late to the party, what's on the 4th? Okay, so what's on the 4th is the Ethereum is changing over to basically they're nerfing the mining fees. So they're changing over elements of their Ethereum. So they're transitioning to full proof of stake. And in the process, they're changing the way the gas fee model is changed. So you're going to have this new structure that splits the base fees and incentive tips. And so no one really knows how this is going to play out for miners. It's a big event, but no one's really talking about it because I just think there's these events that are going to come up and it doesn't matter what happens. there's always the excuses. I'm looking for the future excuses to explain the massive drops. That's what I'm looking for. So August the 4th, just stay tuned for it. Keep your radar out in terms of looking out for GPU. And then, of course, when mining profitability drops, then that could be a big catalyst to get a cheaper GPU. So August 4th is one of the dates to look out for. A huge date if you're either a gamer or, of course, if you're a miner. You just got to be careful. So that's one of those things, man. Always tread lightly. So moving back, is the 126050 V2 a good CPU? What is that? What exactly is that again? I've got to check it out. I'll let you know. Intel 126050 V2. Let me just check out the stats of it, and then I'll check out the price on AliExpress, and I'll be able to tell you if that's a good CPU. So 8 core, 16 threads. It should be like possibly a 3 gigahertz turbo. That's not going to be too bad. It's the Ivy Bridge. So if you can get a cheap motherboard for that, coupled with DDR3 registered, I mean, if the price lines up, if the price is going to match what these specs are saying, I'll be able to tell you straight away if this will be a good buy. Sorry, not V3. V3 is the Haswell one. So if you want the new AVX2 instructional, newer AVX2 instructional, for $22, man, that's a buy. Yeah, that's an easy buy. That's a good recommendation. I don't know. In terms of, is it a good CPU? Yeah, it's a good CPU and it's a good buy. That's a nice pick. I'd give that a hit, definitely. And you can couple that with cheap DDR3 ECC registered. You could really put yourself together a cheap gaming PC. I'm really liking the price of that, man. I might actually buy one after the live stream because thanks for the recommendation. That's actually a really good deal. Really solid. And I mean, a lot of the games out there, save the kids making a comeback. Isn't that scam cryptocurrency? Save the kids or something. Oh, let's have a look at Save the Kids. Oh man, I remember I watched there was CoffeeZilla. He made a really good series on that. Oh man, Save the Kids. Didn't it drop to 0 or something? Oh man, this one was up 5%. Save the Kids. Oh man, this one. So they launched it and it just dropped down. I mean, look at the volume on this. Look, it's only like $80,000. Like, there was so many people dumping it. Look at that there. There was scam the kids. Oh man, there was so many people dumping it. There was so many people dumping this cryptocurrency that the volume was so low that the price just dropped. Sorry, like, this is just, I don't know, man. I'm so skeptical of anything like save the kids. Like, how are you saving the kids by making a cryptocurrency? If you're, instead of making a cryptocurrency, how about you go out in society and, I don't know, save some kids? Whoever thought you could just do it by not being on the internet? I'm sorry to say, but a kid does not need a cryptocurrency to save them. We got a donation from Joshua Chandra Paul with the 100. I forgot that. Thanks for the 100. I think it's is it the rupee? Bryan, AliExpress has been banned in my country. Any alternative website, Bryan? Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know for an alternative in your country. Because AliExpress is good. Like, I'm really liking AliExpress. I've got the ultrasonic cleaner was the recent big purchase I did. It wasn't that big, where I was $150. Wasn't a huge purchase, but it was amazing. Like, I'm really digging AliExpress. I got my phone case from AliExpress. It was like half the price of eBay, so you can really get some good stuff. But yeah, like, what is this, man? Like, save the kids. Like, come on. How about you just go out in society and save some kids? Like, actually save some kids, you know? So I'll go donate parts. I won't even put a camera. Like, sometimes I put the camera on because I want to promote it. But, like, go build some PCs for some underprivileged kids. Go help people out locally. Not rug pull the kids. Exactly. That's rug pull the kids. That's so someone's saying in chat. Exactly. Rug. And then there was that Logan Paul one, the Doink coin, is it? Oh, Doink. Is it Dink Donk or something? Dink Donk price. And then, oh man, $31,000. Like, Wow. What other scams are there out there? Anyone else got some good scams to show the people to stay well and truly clear of? Doink coin went up 5%. Wow, get some doink, guys. And look at that. It's followed the exact same trajectory. It launched. It had a bit more volume going on than Save the Kids, but same thing. It launched and some people were just dumping it. And then it got fully dumped. And then the volume, I mean, to be honest, yeah, then the volume just dies off. And that's what you call a dying cryptocurrency right there. They have the doink coin starts off. There's a heap of money changed hands. And it's like, all right, guys, we can't make any more money off this. Let's just let it be and leave the doink alone. So that's there's another one. So XRP is a solid scam. XRP is an interesting one because I thought banks were actually using XRP, or are they just using the Ripple actual servers? So what's the go with XRP? I haven't done enough research on it. I just know that banks are using or utilizing their service. So with XRP, I'm not too sure. There is Safe, okay. SafeMoon price. Okay, this was another one I saw people going crazy on Twitter about. Like, yeah, there's your SafeMoon there, guys. So as people dump the coin, as the volume goes down, it just slowly dies off. And so there you have it, SafeMoon. People, like, I mean, the guys who invested here, the guys who have it here and dumped here, they're the guys who made money. Now, again, what does this protocol do? If a cryptocurrency is not producing any services or products, then it's pretty much useless. It's just a matter of time. That's what I've been saying about a lot of these cryptocurrencies. They don't actually do anything. If we look at platinum, so someone said platinum's not a scammer, man. Platinum's like a beautiful metal. It's one of the most, it's basically the metal, I call it the metal of the future, because I think once they start making hydrogen cell technology, and even then they're looking at putting it in lithium batteries to make the lithium batteries stronger. So I'm investing in platinum mainly because I believe in it. So platinum's sort of like my thing right now. Of course you could be wrong, you could be right. Who knows? Anything can happen. That's the beauty of the future. But Daryl Scott, he invests $5. Bought a power. Thanks for the donation, brother. Bought a power color 5700 XT 4 months ago for $600. It died July 4th. Power color doesn't fix or replace it. Should I try an independent repair shop? Wow, they should fix that. I mean, if you bought it and it's on warranty, they have to fix it. And that's one thing. Like, one thing I like and one thing I really like about the fact that if you buy a graphics card and you buy it locally from a store, it's under warranty, right? And if they refuse to repair it, you can really get in their face, right? You can get angry and you get your warranty. You paid for that. It's warranted. You deserve to get that product repaired. That's why you buy it new. If you don't want a warranty, you go buy used and you get it a lot cheaper. You run the gauntlet, right? As long as you check it out. Like when I check out used graphics cards, I know they're working. I get them validated, working. I know they're working. So if something happens after that, I just know it's bad luck if it happens soon. But if you're buying a new card, the whole reason you buy it is warranty. So you deserve that. I mean, you're buying that. That's a sad thing to hear, man. It's kind of like, I went off on this. I went on not being able to see my suntan report, going a little bit bad, but no, these 5700 XT is out of warranty. Well, if he bought it 4 months ago, if he bought it new 4 months ago, then it should be in warranty. And in Australia, it depends where you're from, Marco. If you're in Australia and you buy anything, I think it's anything over $500 in Australia has 2 years warranty. So you can get your warranty 2 years in Australia. That's what it should be. So if a place refuses to warranty it, you should be, start practicing temper. That's when you sort of let those inner emotions fly, right? Because it's one thing, man. If it's one thing I get angry about, it's getting hosed. I hate getting hosed. So I think what you're describing there constitutes hosing, in my opinion. I still like investing in defense contractors. You're betting on human nature. That's an interesting one, eh? Basically, what you should be looking at too, and it's funny, always, and I mean always, if you're looking for an investment, right? We can talk about investments. You should be investing in something that people aren't talking about but has inherent value. That's the simple formula for investing. So right now, everyone's telling me to buy real estate. And I'm thinking, well, if everyone's investing in real estate, regardless of inflation and regardless of the attributes of real estate, right? Regardless of the attributes of real estate, if everyone's buying real estate or everyone wants to buy real estate, that in itself is pushing up the price higher than what it would otherwise be had not everyone want to buy real estate. So right now in Australia, there's just this real estate frenzy, you know, like me, because my old man's a builder. We went and looked at a termite job. Like there was like a house down the road that it was eaten out by termites. Like this thing was like, if a normal person bought this house, you wouldn't be able to like fix it up too easily. Like the potential, there was termite damage in the roof, I think. There was termite damage eating out one whole side of the house. And then on the rear, there was evidence of termites eating all through it. And this house is like, before all this COVID boom, right? This house would have easily been worth in its current state, maybe $350,000. Max, this house went, max 380. This house went for 530 grand. Let that sink in, 530 grand. People just came in and they're so bullish and they're competing with each other that they're jacking the prices up on otherwise, like on a house that's termite riddled. The place was like the smallest 3-bedroom home I've ever seen. Had a kitchen that was purple from the 1980s. So it's like, I think a lot of people are getting into property not realizing that sooner or later you got a bubble. Like you're basically you're blowing up a bubble that needs someone else behind it to pay the higher price. So always be careful. And if you want to invest in something, that's why I'm looking that's why I'm personally, I like precious metals right now, especially in the likes of platinum. I think platinum is really undervalued. And yeah, so in Australia, home prices are ridiculous, dude. And that's what I mean. They're if you're looking at 350,000 for termite damage, yeah. So if you want to know home prices, I think Australia and New Zealand lead the rest of the world in terms of overpriced prices. So that's what you've got in Australia. It's just it's insane right now. So tip for you, by the way, home sale closures have been going down as of recent. We may be near the end of the real estate craziness. Well, yeah, I mean, we're probably near the craziness of everything. Sooner or later, bubbles come to an end because you need people to keep buying the inflated prices. And so when the next person can't pay for the inflated price, it doesn't matter what asset it is. If it's a stock, if it's real estate, if it's an overpriced graphics card, you always need someone to pay the inflated prices. And so even through an inflationary environment, which is what we're seeing right now, they have to keep then maintaining the level of printing that they've maintained in the last year. So are they going to keep maintaining those levels of printing? The M3 broad money supply suggests not. In Australia, we're seeing it in front of our very eyes. We're actually seeing a curbing of the stimulus in Australia, which is a really good thing. So we're seeing that curb off. So there are some indicators that are curbing off this massive inflation, which is inflating everything, cheap money as well, price controls. And you know, when you've got price controls on money itself, it's actually ridiculous. So that's why a lot of people are saying like stop printing money, and I'm all for that as well. You're basically just devaluing the people who work hard in society. So Daryl Scott, he donates $10. Thanks for the $10. Thanks for the tenner. I bought it new in March at Micro Center. My PC was randomly restarting at desktop idle for 3 weeks, then wouldn't boot until I swapped my RX 590 back in. What brand of graphics card was that? So yeah, if you bought it from Micro Center, go back in there and say, hey, this is the card, fix it. This is the card, fix my card. You're definitely entitled to a refund, my man. Or you're entitled to a change of that card. They need to fix that for you if you bought it from Micro Center. It should be under warranty. So yeah, go get that thing fixed. You're entitled to that. That's why you pay. That's why you bought that 5700 XT in the first place. I know. And this is the funny thing with the 5700 XT. I know someone here locally. It's actually the guy in the parts hunt yesterday. The guy in the parts hunt, I picked up the parts off him, and he was telling me he had a 5700 XT, and that busted after 3 months, I think it was. So they can. Oh. And we'll quickly change the battery. Look at that. It does last long. You're gonna have to bear with me. Okay. Technical difficulties, baby. Technical difficulties. This is what we're talking about. We are back up and running. We should be back up and running. We should be good. Wow. Did you see that? I did a little bit of Matrix. Bit of a Matrix glint there. Welcome back, guys. We should be good. Okay. That was painless, wasn't it? That was painless. So basically what happened was I ordered a AC adapter for my camera. And the scary thing was I ordered an AC adapter for my camera and it said it got delivered a month ago. And when I went to check around for it, it never got delivered. So I'm kind of stuck here with, I got to change batteries if I do a live stream. So it didn't fail. Like the camera didn't fail. It was just like, I don't know. It was just relaxing a little bit. So at least there's, hey, one technical difficulty, difficulties. That's it. So I was ready for it though. I was prepared. Mentally, I was prepared for the battery that was going to become of age. I might need a super battery if I'm live streaming, but, okay. So back to Q&A, is Nerang a nice place to live? So yeah, it's funny about my local place. So where I live is a place called Highland Park. It was an extension of Nerang. Back 20 years ago, Nerang, where I used to live, Nerang was it was kind of considered a pretty low income area, like a dump. And it was kind of considered a dump. And then 20 years later, like now, Nerang's considered a decent suburb. So like, it's funny how suburbs change. Some of the suburbs will change over time for the better. Some will change for the worst. The suburb where I'm at, Nerang, in Highland Park, they've changed for the better. Like they've really sort of shot up in value. I think that's because in the end, if you're looking at real estate, it's always going to be logistics and location and vicinity of that location to things that will dictate the price. I mean, sooner or later, right? So Nerang's close to the highway where I'm at. I'm close to the highway and I'm close to a lot of different big hubs on the Gold Coast. So it's actually got a lot of value there. And I think a lot of people are like, oh, I want to live in Nerang. I want to live where the yes man's living. So yeah, it's not bad. But how'd you know I lived in Nerang? That's pretty cool, man. You know the suburb where I live. It's like, yeah, what's up? 2060 is 699 AUD. What's the issue? The issue is it's a 2060. So it used to be $450. So that's the issue with the 2060. That's $699. So that's the issue right there, the price. But yeah, other than that, I mean, if you're looking for an RTX card, the 2060 is okay, but you're not going to be doing... The thing is with the RTX 2060 is it's not really a RTX card. You're not doing much ray trace. Like DLSS, the only reason I'd get a 2060 is so you could get DLSS. And that's it. So 20 years ago, Nerang was the Tech Yes price performance. Yeah, so 20 years ago, where I was, it was 20 years ago, it was the price performance hub of the Gold Coast. And it's funny. It's actually funny. I'll give you another example, right? Where I am locally, there's a place called Nerang, right? It used to be called an orangutan. If you lived in Nerang, so I used to be called an orangutan, because that's what the nickname you got. Then there was a place called Southport. When I was young, there's a place called Southport. It's near the water. Now it's scary because Southport used to be a really good suburb. It used to be a really nice place to live. And then the sad thing was, if you go to Southport now, Southport's actually kind of scary. Like every time I go to Southport to pick up some PC parts from the store, like there's guys walking on the street that are just like yelling at cars. They're yelling at people. So there's sort of suburbs that have changed focus. And it sort of seems to be like the suburbs that are kind of near the water now in Australia, or at least in the Gold Coast. The suburbs that are close to the water are sort of slowly but ever more increasingly getting a lot of bogans coming along. So it's pretty funny. It can be anywhere where you are. You just got to watch the trends though. But yeah, in terms of real estate right now, I wouldn't be buying any real estate. I just think it's in Australia anyway. I think it's such a weird time to be buying real estate, and I think a lot of people are going really overboard and getting caught up in the hype. And I think the same happened for some of these cryptocurrencies, especially mining profitability too. So you got to be very careful with how you invest your money, my friends. So, and I mean, should we even call the fiat currency money too? That's another thing. So any thoughts on the MSI Trident 3 PC? We can take a look. We can quickly take a look for you guys and see if the MSI Trident 3 is any good. We'll quickly switch over to the small screen. The MSI Trident 3. Trident Z3, is it? Or Trident 3? Just the Trident 3. So you get a 10400F, an RTX 30. That's not too bad. Like, I was going to say, okay, it sounds like it's going to be crap. But if you can get that on sale, if you can get that for under $2,000, it's not too bad. But I'd like, honestly, you could build a PC like this possibly for around, if you looked hard enough, you could build something for like around 1600. But at least you get a 3-year warranty on the whole thing. So 3-year warranty is not too bad. I mean, I think it's like, it's overpriced, but it's not like, you know, Alienware overpriced sort of thing. So it's okay. It's not too bad. But I mean, I'd be aiming for around 1700 for this if it's on sale or something like that, because yeah, it does have a small footprint too, but I'm not going to go crazy. Like, I'm not going to bash it, but at the same time, I'm not going to praise it. So it's sort of like meh. Yeah. Price, so Salaire, price won't go down. Even if it goes down, it will be gone real quick. That's assuming the money to buy it is there as well. So you're assuming the reserves are there to buy the particular thing you're talking about. What are your thoughts on FSR versus DLSS? So far, FSR, I mean, I'm like, personally, I use DLSS in some games, and that's about it. And FSR, I tried it in Dota 2. I wasn't that big on it, man. So I just thought it was a sharpening filter, and that's, in its essence, it's a sharpening filter. So, I mean, there's going to be comparisons out there that say, oh, it works well in 4K. Are they trying like, I've got the 4K OLED, which is a 55-inch, right? So you can see all the details on FSR. I didn't buy into the hype of FSR. I just look at it. I'm like, okay, is this providing me a better experience than native 4K? And the answer was no. But if you're gaming on 4K to begin with, why would, like, and if you can't get the FPS, why are you gaming at 4K? That's what 1080p is for. And then that's where FSR kind of struggles with 1080p and 1440p, kind of struggles on those revolutions. So it just depends. Like, FSR does have, it's new. So I'm not going to bash FSR, but at the same time, I'm not going to get caught up in the hype. And so I think nowadays, like, every time I turn on YouTube and people are telling me, like, every time I'm on YouTube, people are telling me about, you know, like RTX 49. I mean, I'm just giving you guys an opinion, but every time I pull up YouTube now, the RTX 49 changes, unbelievable. It's like, guys, this stuff has to come out first. You know what I mean? This stuff has to come out. And so once the technology's good, then we can go on about how good it is, right? So I just think, like, that's why DLSS 2.0, that kind of came out. And especially for me, I became a big believer of 2.0 DLSS after Cyberpunk. And so before then, everyone was just bashing DLSS, right? You couldn't find a forum that didn't hate on DLSS. But then when DLSS became good, it was like, okay, guys, this is actually really good. DLSS 2.0 became really good. So I think, for me, I'm always one of a wait and see approach. I don't get caught up in hype. And I think if you're going to get caught up in hype, you're constantly going to be let down, because, I don't know, I'd put a statistic on it. I'd say 75% of rumors suck. 25% are good. So if you're getting hyped about things, you're probably going to be let down 3 out of 4 times. You're going to be let down. So you get your hopes up, you know, and for instance, there'll be people like, I know some people that, for instance, there was people that, say for instance, the RTX 3000 launch, there was a lot of people who sold their 2080 Ti's, and I actually know someone who sold their 2080 Ti, and they were hoping that they'd get a 3000 series card, and they just got left out. Like, it took them months of having no GPU. They set up their whole studio, everything, for a 3080, and they couldn't get one. So they eventually ended up paying a scalper price when they could have just kept onto their 2080 Ti, and just, they would have still had a great GPU in their setup. So some people don't get caught up too much in hype if you can. So not coming until 2023. The RTX 4000, I mean, who knows? Yeah, who knows when the 4000 series and who knows when the 7900 XT is coming. You gotta remember, one thing that a lot of people aren't talking about in these videos, and we'll talk on this on the big screen. The one thing that people aren't talking about with AMD and NVIDIA is that they don't want to release a 4090 sooner. They want to release it later. They don't want to, like AMD does not want to give you a 7900 XT as soon as possible. They want to give it to you as late as possible. Why? Because they want to sell what they've currently developed for as long as possible. So that's why when we saw the 10 series cards, for instance, the 1080 Ti was top dog for a long time, as long as I could remember. And then we had the 2000 series, the RTX 2000 series. That wasn't a huge up in terms of raw performance. That was really not much of an increase over 1000 series. But NVIDIA were like, okay, let's bring DLSS and RTX in to try and sell these cards and differentiate them. And so they held off on that for a long time. So it was really like, it was a long time before we got the RTX 3000 series. And then the whole crypto mining boom came along. But if you're looking at the RTX 4000 series and the performance gains, expect to see a 3080 Ti, which you've already seen, but expect to see maybe a 3080 Super as well. You might even see a Super generation after this 3080 Ti. You may even see like a RTX 3060 Super, and you may see a 3070 Super before you see an RTX 4090. That's a possibility, because a lot of these guys, they just think that these companies are going to release an RTX 4090 and it's going to come out next month and it's going to completely destroy the 3080. That's not, NVIDIA's not in the game of doing that. NVIDIA wants to make money. Same with AMD. So why would they release these cards when as soon as possible? They release them as late as possible. So yeah, you'd expect to see maybe a 4000 series card next year, not this year. So I'd give the 4000 series a big delay, even though I think the performance numbers are lining up. And I think that that would be the solution to completely, like, if you give a massive performance boost and you get it right, you can leave a mess behind, which I know for a fact that crypto is going to leave a massive mess in the market for GPUs when that time comes. And I mean, at the moment, it seems like things aren't, you know, look back in May. When you look back in May, it seems like, well, things were, you know, things couldn't drop then. And then sure enough, there was a massive drop in May and the following months. And now it seems like, again, that crypto can do no harm. Crypto can't stop. It's an unstoppable train. That's if you ask the miners, and they think the crypto can't drop. But again, when I feel like something's overpriced, and I feel like something's really overpriced, I feel like sooner or later, the market is going to say, this price needs to come down. And that happens naturally. And the excuse for it could be anything. And I think August 4th could be another good excuse. So who knows? Anything can happen. Just remember that. Never expect the unexpected. That's a age-old saying. I remember I learned that one when I was a kid. Expect the unexpected. So what would be good? Pirate Master, what would be a good upgrade from a 1063 gigabyte, a 1080 Ti or a 2080 Super or a 3060 Ti? I mean, if you can pick up a 3060 Ti LHR and you're gaming for 1,000 Aussie, like, that's not too bad. The 3060 Ti, I was really liking it when it came out in Australia, and you could get one for 750 Aussie dollars. So a 1080 Ti would be, if you can get one for $600, I would go for a 1080 Ti at 600 Aussie dollars. 400 USD, 400 USD for a 1080 Ti is not too bad. So that would be your higher end cards. That would be a big upgrade over a 1060 3 gigabyte. So we also got, is it true that Linus is your son? Yes, I conceived him when I was 1 year old. 1 year old, yeah. 1 year old. That's true. I did. This is true. Truth is coming to light. The question is, how much do you want to pay? They're all an upgrade. Yeah, I mean, that's true. I would skip the 2000 though. The RTX 2080 Super would be not as sort of desirable as the 3060 Ti or the 1080 Ti. Expect the unexpected. Normally said right before someone is going to punch you in high school. Oh man, what kind of high school did you go to? Someone just walks up to you and is like, "Hey man, expect the unexpected," and just straight up hook. It's like, what? Man, that's not a expect the unexpected. That's just a sucker punch, bro. and your friends shouldn't be doing that to you. I mean, hey man, my mate just knocked me out today. Oh, bro, that's amazing. Your mate just knocked you out, bro. That's awesome. It's like, what? Really? Been playing EFT with 2060 Super. FPS is okay. FPS is bad. Should I get a 3080 Ti? Yeah, I mean, if you need more FPS, I mean, I'd just hold out on the 2060 Super And I just dropped the settings down for now because I wouldn't be buying a 3080 or a 3080 Ti at their current prices. I mean, we can check the prices, but their prices are just really oh man, we got someone just spamming chat. Like, come on, bro. There he goes. Oh man, like what? Remove. Okay, we got to remove this. Damn it, someone going crazy. Someone went crazy in chat with symbols that shouldn't be in chat. Come on, man. How does YouTube allow that crap to even happen in the first place? I don't know. Yeah, it's just funny. Is GT 900 a good thermal paste? Yes, but we can check the prices right now of the RTX 3080. And yeah, I mean, if you're in the US, these things are going for like $1,200. Like that's a $700 card going for $1,200. I just wouldn't be paying that right now. That's a ripoff. Yeah, I mean, we check completed listings too, completed items. See what's going on. I made it. Man, this guy again, he's got like multiple accounts. Yeah, so. Oh man, he's probably got another account. So some dude in chat's just like, man, wow. I'm waiting for him. Can you make me a mod? I'll clean it up for you. Oh, right on the fly, exactly. Add moderator. Rocket Jump Ninja, you are now a moderator. Thanks, brother. Thanks. See, we go here. We got 3080 Ti. And we got the prices are just stupid again. So it's funny because the 3080 Ti is actually looking like it's better value than the 3080 at the current market prices. But I wouldn't be buying either right now. And it's just simply because you're not getting a good deal by any means. And again, my prediction was a few months ago that the prices would come down to about 50% over MSRP. And they did, right? That's about 50% over MSRP. But you want to, if you're going to pay for a card in an inflationary environment, you kind of want to, oh man, where's this, like, what is this crap going on in chat? Hey, I'm just like looking at the chat and it's just starting to get spammed. Might have to actually tune the chat down, drop chat down just until we, like, and then the next live stream we get it figured out. So at the moment with prices and GPU prices, you're just not getting a good deal on the 3080, 30 Ti. And I think they have to come down to even consider buying them to around 30% or 20% over MSRP. That's the level that I feel a lot of people will start buying the cards. For instance, if you have 3060 Ti's coming in at 900 Aussie dollars, then I'm pretty sure they'll start to sell pretty well. And I think the market will say, okay, I'm not getting too ripped off, but I can game at least. And at least things will be going on as normal and the market will get somewhat back to some sort of normality. But until then, and until miners are keeping the prices high, there's no point in buying some of these cards. They're just too much. And stick to the used market, brothers. But we'll get back to Q&A. That working, I just clicked hide user from channel. Yeah, it's working really well. Thanks, Zai. A true brother in arms. Actually, speaking of brother in arms, do you want to... it's lockdown. Damn. So we're in lockdown at the moment. I was gonna like, we should get some pizza or something. But where I am locally, we went into lockdown yesterday. There's someone else going at it now. This guy must have so many accounts. So like, man, change the setting to post once per minute. Some other live streams do that. Okay. I don't know. Like, I'm on live stream, so I don't know how to do it exactly. I will do that. I think it's called slow. I think it's called slow chat. I will do that. I will do that next time. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I've been reminded to turn on slow mode. It's just never been a problem until this live stream. Like, I've never really had a problem with the chat. You guys have always been awesome in the chat, and we've always had really good discussions. But 3060 Ti upgrade from a 2060 Super. Yeah, of course it's an upgrade, but I just wouldn't bother at the time being. It's not like a worthwhile upgrade. That's what I think. So yeah, man, whoever's got these accounts, like, damn, this is insane. Wow. Okay. I might actually, just while we're live, I might actually just try and turn on slow mode in a live stream. Like, because this is stupid, man. Like, I mean, I'll try and turn on the slow mode. There we go. It should be good. It should be good. I should be able to turn slow mode should be enabled now. The live stream should be normal, hopefully. So that's, I think I've turned it on now. So yeah, so you can send a message every 1 minute now. So there we go. That'll stop these. Yeah, so there it is. Fry, Jetpix. So now he can only post one message. Yeah. So thanks, Marco. Your job will be a lot easier now. So I think I've turned it on. So now they'll only post one Jacksepticeye thing. Yeah. So now they can only post one Jacksepticeye is Rotanel lol. So now he can only post one Jacksepticeye in chat, and then he'll get banned straight away. So it's going to be a lot easier. So slow mode's on. If you've got a question, let's just drop it out. So we'll be. Oh man, that's stressful. Like, damn. Oh, thanks, Marco. Thanks, Zai. You guys are doing God's work. So slow mode is on now. So you get one question every minute, and you get one Jacksepticeye every minute. So one turd on the punch bowl ruins the party. Oh man, I love you guys. So there we go. All right. Yeah. So I mean, he can try. I mean, it's pretty hard to get what that guy's doing is actually pretty hard. It takes time. It takes effort. So I just don't know why you would put the effort into trying to disrupt a live stream, like where we're talking about PC parts and I'm trying to help people with finding the best value. I just don't get some people, man. Like, anyway. Yeah, anyway, Jacksepticeye. I think he's a massive YouTuber that just does massive YouTube videos. So Marco's living in Taiwan. And so, yeah, in terms of, okay. Oh, man. Like, that was stressful. So what's your favorite food? That's actually a good thing. We can get on to some happier news. My favorite food, my favorite food changes, right? At the moment, I'm a bit of a Mexican buff. So I'm loving burritos. I'm loving tacos. Like home-cooked tacos and home-cooked burritos. Like, I'm all big on that. You know, like anything with mince and cheese in it, man, I'm a big fan. Hey. So that's kind of like, you put guacamole in there, sour cream, like I'm solved. So, I mean, after this, I might even have to get a burrito. Go make myself a burrito. Of course, pizza's a staple. And the sad thing is, like, the more I think about my favorite foods, the more I realize they've all got cheese in them. So, and then we got Intel GPU. Will it come too late for the GPU shortage? No, I think like if we look at the DG, so the DG201, if we look at that, we go over. The DG201, the release date on it is DG2 release date. I think this is coming out sooner than people expect. Like the DG1, it was common knowledge in the scene. If you guys were in the scene, it was common knowledge in the scene that the DG1 was so it was common knowledge in the scene that the DG1 was meant to be Intel's just like literally just like a crappy GPU that was just meant for them to make a GPU and sort of seed it out there. But the DG2 was always rumored to be the card that actually brings some competition to the market. Now, knowing Intel and knowing especially Raja Kaduri, who's working with Intel, and this is what I said in the last live stream, it's very possible that this card could be the savior. And it's expected late 2021. So it should come before Christmas. And that's the most important date for Intel to hit. If they can hit a launch with enough stock on the DG2 before Christmas and it comes in with a decent price point, they could very well be in an awesome position to really capture the gamers, because the gamers are struggling out here. And this is what I think people are starting to realize now. George as well. And Dari, thanks for the $5 Aussie, bro. Did you hear yet lockdown in our surrounding areas might be extended again? Oh man, really? So we're on a 3-day lockdown at the moment, and you can only go out to get groceries and do a bit of exercise. So yeah, they might extend it because anyway, we'll get back to some good news. We'll get back to some good news here. So Intel coming in with the DG2, if they really want to do the disruptive practice, they could really capture a lot of market share from AMD and NVIDIA. Now, AMD and NVIDIA have just shown, and as people like, this is all the guys in the past, when Ryzen 2000, when Ryzen 3000, when these CPUs from AMD were running so hot, when B450 was running so hot, people were like, wow, AMD, they're so good. AMD just cares about the gamers. AMD loves us. AMD is God. And then Ryzen 5000 came out, and then the RX 6000 series came out, and then people realized, I think people are starting to realize now, AMD is just another publicly traded company. They want to increase their profit margins, and they want to take care of the shareholders. And so I think that was, at the end of the day, like if AMD, like, I mean this is a bad way to say it to you guys. I don't know how else to explain it, but if AMD is the pimp, the customers are the whores. Like, that's the Tola Cram, $20. Spammers suck. Favorite beverage on me. Thanks, brother. Thanks for the $20 donation. That's awesome. So with AMD and NVIDIA, the same. It all comes down at the end of the day to the to them making profit and them taking care of profit shareholders. Now, what the good thing is here, the good thing about this is that companies like what AMD with their 2000 series and their 3000 series CPUs, what happened here was that they disrupted the market, right? They said, look, we've got to get the name out. We've got to provide cheap prices. And that's what they did. Now, Intel is in that same situation. They have to get the name out. And so they're going to do a disruptive policy, I think, with the GPUs. So that's why I think Intel, the DG2, I've got high hopes for the DG2. And I think it can position Intel, all that negativity in the past, it won't matter because everyone, when it comes to buying products, everyone always votes with their wallets. And that's what, at the end of the day, that's what it always comes down to. So I mean, it was a hard analogy. I couldn't really think of a better analogy, right? You know what I mean? But there's people that, I guess there's people that love getting, like, you know, they love getting taken to town. And so you saw that. And then the biggest comparison, right? And people were like, oh, you know, the Ryzen 5 5600X, people put this comparison up that, oh, it was only $50 more than the 3600X. But the biggest difference that people failed to see was the fact that, no, it was a $100 difference because you could get a Zen 2 6-core for $200. That was the 3600. You didn't have a 5600. AMD didn't release a 5600. So your cheapest 6-core on the Zen 3, the cheapest CPU was the 5600X, which was $100 more. And so I think a lot of people failed to see that. And that was the biggest price increase in a generation. So, and that was thanks, Ahmed. Like, you just got to be objective about these things and just say, hey, this is what happened. Now, looking at the 6600 XT, look at the same trend. And this is what I was saying just before in the live stream. 6600 MSRP, it's $100 more than the 6600 XT. $100 price increase on your MSRPs. That's huge. So you can see here that AMD not only need to make more money, and so how much of that, I mean, when we look at the price increase, right? If you look at the calculator, how much of that is an increase, right? So if we got 379 divided 279, so 35% increase in your baseline model. So going from a 5600 XT to a 6600 XT is a 36% price increase. Now, of course, that's going to help their margins. But how much of that is inflation? Say, for instance, if real inflation is, so hold on, 1.36 divide, say, for instance, real inflation, I'll be conservative. I'm going to at least say 10% inflation. They're making a 20% price increase, a raw price increase of 20% from generation to generation. I'd say inflation, I'd be saying inflation's probably more. I would say inflation's probably 15%. So, but 18% price increase. So they've got to make more money, right? AMD's established themselves and they're saying we've got to make more money. Same with NVIDIA, right? If we look at the 3080 Ti was meant to be $999. B0057 with the $199 donation, one up. Thanks, brother. We got one more life on the stream here. The same thing with the 3080 Ti. This was meant to be $999, and I know that for a fact. I know in the grapevine this was meant to be, this card was meant to cost $1,000. So we got 1,200 divide 1,000, right? There's a 20% increase. Now, that was already on top of a price increase. Sorry, just doing math here. a 42% price increase over the 3080. Now, let's just do a bit of math on live stream here, a bit of crazy math, because we can sort of, if we can ascertain how much the traditional percentages were, we can sort of see how much the raw NVIDIA price modeling increase was. So did we really have $599 to $699? Okay. $599 to $699. You'll get where I'm going here soon. So 17% increase was their 1080 Ti. That was their structure. When they had a 1080 versus a 1080 Ti, that was their raw price increase structure. They said, look, we want about 17% more juice for this Ti model, as opposed to a 42% increase. We'll give it a 7. We'll give it a benefit of the doubt here. Which, sorry if we're going a bit stupid here. 26% increase. Like, that's basically, they're putting 26% more juice on the Ti model. And that's already without the $200 increase. This is only the $999 price. So they're already, with the 3080 Ti, NVIDIA is already going higher with the profit margins. So you can see they are doing it because they can. There's a demand out there. The crypto miners are making the GPUs more scarce. And so you essentially see that the market for buying a higher end GPU, the people who are left can afford the higher prices. And that's just natural pricing. If crypto mining was never here, I would say a 3080 Ti would be struggling to sell at $999. People would only buy the $699 3080 and leave the 3080 Ti on the shelves. But because of crypto mining, the situation is much different. And people are like, oh, crypto miners are only buying 25% of the cards. I would argue it's much more. I would say the crypto miners are actually picking up over 50% of the cards. All those new cards that are sold, 3060 Ti's, 3070s, 3080s, 3090s, whatever. I would say the majority of people picking up those cards are crypto miners, believe it or not. And that's my assumption. Because if you can see here, if we can see right here that the guys, the core Ethereum developers, if they don't even know how much the August 4th drop is going to do to mining profitability, then people are just pulling stats. Like, people are just pulling stats out of their ass. And that's what you can ascertain from a lot of these. This is like a core Ethereum developer doesn't even know how much this stuff's going to affect the price. Can we get some, like, who is buying the graphics cards for mining versus gaming? We can also get some statistics there. And I guarantee you the majority of people buying graphics cards on the new 3000 and 6000 series are probably miners. So we got here a $10 donation from Theo Burt, $10 Aussie. Thanks, brother. Hi, Brian. Could you suggest what GPU I should buy, the price I should buy it at? Can't wait forever for MSRP, and any other upgrades for my current build on PC part picker. Okay. Okay. Thanks, man. Yeah, sure. We can check it out. PC part picker. Okay. Let's have a look. We can have a look at your, thanks for the donation, bro. We'll have a look at your life. We'll have a look at this build. Aussie dollars. Okay, cool. So you've got here RAM. Yep. 16 gig. Yep. You probably got, yep. Easy. Good choice. Good choice. Good choice. Good choice. Good. Is there any reason why you got a 3? Like, dude, that thing is a dinosaur. Is that, unless you've got that as a backup. Yeah, free-ish. Okay. This was salvaged from my old setup. Yeah, you can buy a 2 terabyte for 25 bucks. You know what I mean? Like, that's on the used market. But other than that, deep cool matrix, yeah. CV450. So you're going with the 450 watt power supply. So you're going with the budget power supply. I would stick to at most, I'd go for a 3060 Ti then. On a 450 watt power supply, max would be a 3060 Ti. And even then, like, and people will be like, oh my God, 3060 Ti, 450 watt power supply. It's like, yeah, you can undervolt it. And when you undervolt a 3060 Ti, you get really good wattage efficiency. So I would go for a 3060 Ti LHR. And you can pick one up in Australia for 1,000 Aussie. But the problem is it's 1,000 Aussie dollars. Your budget's $800 for the PC. You kind of like, it seems like, you know, a 1050 Ti for 389 is no way I'd buy that for that price. I'd get rid of that straight away. That's an insane price for a 1050 Ti. on the used market, you should be able to get a 1070 for that price. So that would do the build all right. Like a 1070 wouldn't be too bad. It'd get you through it. So that's what I'd recommend. Yeah, so is $819 an okay deal for a brand new 3070? Yeah, it's okay. Like it's not good. That's all I'm gonna say. But it's not the worst. Like basically, it's not the worst I've seen a 3070 price for. I'd like to see it under 700. If you were going to say, okay, I'm gonna buy it and forget about what the market does. I can enjoy this thing. So how do people contact you to make deals? This memory I've got, you can have it, bro, for the cause. Oh, thanks, man. That's a big deal in my way. I just drop a comment, man. I'll get back to you. Or just send me a message on Twitter, and then I can follow you and send you a DM. Yeah, I'll take some free memory. I love DDR3, especially with DDR3 memory. I just keep hoarding DDR3 memory because I find it sells. It helps you sell office PCs really well. So, hi tech, yes, man. Should I get a MSI GTX 1066 gigabyte for 240 Aussie? Yeah, definitely. I really want to get it, but I don't know what to do because my bank is being stubborn. In getting $125 scammed Gumtree funds using, okay. So someone scammed you on Gumtree, damn. Sad thing is, if you bank deposit that money, if you put that money in someone's bank account, you're probably not getting it back. That's the sad thing. But yeah, 240 for a 1066 gigabyte. Make sure, since you've already been scammed, make sure you can verify the card's a 1060 and it's working before you buy it. Definitely. The old 5000 series cards, yeah, if you want to play some StarCraft 2, brother, play some Dota 2 on a 5000 series card. If you want to play, like, the old Radeon 5000 series cards will do the job. Like any of these old cards. And this is one thing, I actually had a big gripe, and I'm actually going to talk about this in some upcoming reviews. There's a lot of the companies advertising, like, say for instance, NVidia and AMD, they advertise these games, right? They advertise these games out there. And they're like, oh, look at Godfall. Look at a game, like some other game that you've never heard of before and no one plays it. Look at the FPS this card can get in it. And then they compare it to like a GTX 1060, or they compare it to a card that's really popular on Steam. And they're like, oh, the 1060 can't do 60 FPS in Godfall. And then it's like, well, yeah, but the 1060 cost $200 when it was released. People could afford the 1060. And if we look at the most popular games on Steam, Godfall's not even like anywhere near the top 20 games. So I'd love to see like a lot of, like, when I do the comparisons, I might put in one of these new AAA titles, and then the rest of the games in the comparison will just be popular games. Like, because I mean, if you're going to buy a new graphics card, what games are you playing? So like the only reason I use an RTX 3080 here is for video editing in 4K, RTX Studio. That's the only reason I use an RTX. If I wasn't, I'd be playing Dota 2. Like, I play Dota 2 and StarCraft 2. I only play easy to play games. I don't need a 3080 Ti. So that's all. I use it for video editing. And that's it. So George Vespucci, nice purple hair, Grandma. Thanks, brother. Thanks. Man, you're going to have to do a lot better than that, dude. Come on. I need a laugh. Like, sometimes people in comments are really good. They got that originality. That was the most boring comment I've read all day. Let's have a look here. I have an X58 PC with an i7 950 plus 16 gigabytes of RAM plus a GT 1030 OC DDR5. Suggest games, please. Yeah, Dota 2, CSGO, Valorant, Fortnite, a GT 1030 will a GT 1030 will do Fortnite as well. So don't worry about that. That'll do it easy. So is a 5700 XT worth playing games in 4K or 1440p? I'd go for 1440p with the 5700 XT, mainly because if you do 4K, you might run into some games where it's getting hard to get that FPS. So I'd say the 5700 XT is more geared up towards 1440p. So you play Dota 2, nice. Yeah, I love Dota 2, man. I'm waiting for Age of Empires 4 as well. So I'm more of an RTS sort of top-down games kind of guy. I can play FPS, but like FPS is Chris Bartlett, you're looking old, Bryan. That's it, man. Why is everyone comment? People are so focused on my age. Like, guys, I'm 35 years old. You know, in 5 years' time, I will be old. I will be 40 in 5 years' time. Like, I'm not gonna stay 25 forever. You know, that's what I mean, 25 is like the perfect age. I think if you're 25 right now and you're locked down, if you're 20 as well, if you're like a teenager and you're locked down at the moment, you should be angry. You should be really like upset because you're missing out on living the best days of your life. That's why I don't care. Like, as you know, if are we starting the lame heckles? Nice shirt, man. Represent the studio again. Yeah. I mean, in terms of age, I mean, look, we're all gonna get old someday. That's just human nature. In terms of me, I was like, man, I lived my teens and my 20s hard, bro. I look back, I'm like, damn, I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have done it any other way. So, I mean, if you can look back in your 20s and your teens, if you can look back and you can say, hey, man, I went so hard, like all-nighters, you know, mad parties, all the good stuff. And you can sort of like, you know, because it's funny, like I see some of these guys like on the news, they'll be like, oh, 18-year-old entrepreneur, he's got this mad hustle going, mad business. And then the poor dude will probably get to 40, right? And he'll look back and he's like, oh man, my whole life I just worked. And then I'm 40 and I can't even enjoy all this work that I've built up. You know, because when you're 40 years old, you can't exactly go to a nightclub and go, yeah, get some mad pee, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, but I mean, like, yeah, when people like say I'm looking old, it's like, yeah, I'm getting old too. So, you know, it's like, this is an age, like, what? Yeah. Bryan, I like that you dyed your eyebrows. I did, yeah. I just got bored. Like, I am bored right now. If anyone asks me, why'd you dye your hair? I'm just bored. Like, I'm totally bored right now of lockdowns and everything in between. So I'm just super bored right now with it all. And that's the only emotion to describe it. Like, I want to go see my son in Japan. I can't. The government thinks that like I'm some mad risk to society if I go over to Japan. Yeah, so yeah. If 35 is considered old, I must be ancient. I am 50. 38 years young here. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, yeah, age is one of those things, man. Doesn't matter. I mean, everyone like, are you turning 36 this year? I did. Yeah, 20-somethings try to dump on us, but they sound similar. Yeah. 20-somethings try to dump on us, but they sound... Yeah, I'm turning 36 later, at the end of this year. So I don't really care, though. Like, I just know, like, when up here, my memories are... They're really good memories. So I wouldn't have lived it any other way in my 20s or my teens, man. So yeah, I'm happy about that. But now, in terms of, like, PC parts, I'm happy to do... all this stuff where I build used PCs, I help people out, get people into PC gaming, whether it's cheap or give people the right decisions, help people make the right decisions when it comes to all things PC gaming, as well as help people start businesses and whatnot. Tech Yes City is going to be that hub for just raw PC tech enthusiast hardware. Love the gray hair, Bryan. I'm bald but no gray hair. I mean, I can go bald. Like, maybe that'll make me look younger. If you guys want me to look younger, I can try. What is your perspective about GPU market in the future? Yeah, so Intel GG2, potential savior. Intel GG2, potential savior. We got that. That's the one that I'm looking forward to. Also, August 4th and crypto rug pulls. Big potential saviors too. So it all happen when things dry up. That's all I'll say. Sooner or later, there's a dry up period. And it can come quickly, it can come fast, it can come slowly. But sooner or later, there's going to be a dry up period. This all dates back, I mean, all this printing money and stuff, it's all done throughout history. You know, they did it as early as the Romans were printing money essentially. So if printing money and inflation and demand and supply, it all ends up in boom and bust cycles. So high quality cameras age us. He looks younger in person, just saying. Oh, thanks, Rocket Jump. Yeah, maybe the Canon. Like, I'm on, like, dude, I turn this lens is so sharp. It's probably the lens. This lens is so sharp that it sharpens everything. That's the Canon formula. Do you mess around with emulators at all? I love them. Yeah, like, I gotta get a PS Vita and then I can emulate that. Ryan Wright, $5 Aussie. Hey, Bryan, I love your content. I got an E3 1230 V3 based system with a 1050 Ti. How much do you think I'd fetch cleaned up on the secondhand market? If that's Aussie dollars, yeah, you donate in Aussie dollars, you should be getting that. I would say you'd get around, depends on what case. If you've got a full RGB case with that thing, you can get around $599 to $699. If you've got $699 with 16 gigabytes of RAM and an SSD, 256 gigabyte SSD, 500 gig, 1 terabyte hard drive, even a 120 gigabyte SSD, you go for around 700 Aussie. Like that's what that would sell for. If the whole PC is just perfect and it runs really fine, and you can show people, like the reason I sell my PCs really well is because I really go attention to detail when I'm selling a PC. Like I sell a PC as if I was using it myself. So if it's a cheap PC, it's still going to do the job. If it's a gaming PC, then it's going to look good and it's going to play hard, like even at its price point, whatever. So you can get good money for that thing. That's pretty. Just the hard thing is you've got to in the ad, you've got to tell people what the 1230 V3 Xeon's about. Like the average person who's buying a PC doesn't know what a Xeon is. If you tell them, look, it's the equivalent of an i7 4770, you should be able to sell that thing pretty easy. So I'm 45. You're still a kid. Not yet. I'm not. I'm in that phase, man. I'm going from kid to man sort of thing. You know, the world humbles you, man. Doesn't matter how aggressive you are, how much of a raging bull you are, the world will humble you sooner or later. Tips for building a PC business. How much margin should I put on a $1,000 build, for example? Not sure what I can get away with. It's what the market determines, man. So you've got to, like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you paid $1,000 for the build. What matters is what's in that build and what people want. If I was building a PC for $1,000, say for instance that Titan PC, that Titan X PC, I put that together, I think for under the Titan X PC, I put that around $1,000. I sold that for $1,500. So that was a 50% profit margin, right? So it all depends on what parts you've got in there. i9 Titan X, the build just sold itself. Mind you, I did clean it up and spend a bit of time on it, but it all depends. If you're talking about a $1,000 build, you got to talk about what components. If you've got like an RTX 2060 in there, it might be a bit more difficult, right? Or if you've gone out and bought a say for instance an RX 580 for $500 and you build top, like I don't know anyone who's going to buy a PC here, a gaming PC with an RX 580 for $1,000. People don't want that. They want an NVIDIA card maybe at that price, or they want something that's higher performance, say a 5600 XT. So that's what I'd be. So we got Darren Davis, £20 donation. Thanks, brother. Bryan, you're a legend in the game. You help a lot of people. Don't let anyone tell you different. Thanks, brother. Thanks. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, at the end of the day, you guys out there, the guys who like actually support the channel and love the content, you guys always, your comments and your goodwill always outweighs the negativity, you know. And even if some of the dudes are sort of having a joke, I know they're having it. I know they're having a crack, you know. So I'll be the oldest 35-year-old in the tech scene, and so be it. Also 50-year-old. The guys that told me to stop playing football were right. My knees and hips need surgery. Oh yeah, so I stopped running on pavement because I could feel the pain in my knees. Even when I was like 28 or something, I started running on pavement and I realized pavement running was bad for me. I don't know, people might say, oh, pavement running's good, whatnot. I stopped doing pavement running because I could feel the pain flowing through. And I knew sooner or later, your body, if your body's getting pains from things, that's your body telling you something needs to change. So whatever you're doing. So again, pain's a good thing if it's giving you a warning of to change things up for your body. Because yeah, you know, you can't be 18 forever. I remember I was invincible when I was 18, dude. Like 2 all-nighters in a row, work 3 days straight. You couldn't do that now. Prices in EU are 25% higher, including used market. You reckon picking up a 1080 ROG Strix for $520 here in Denmark is worth it? Upgrading from a GTX 660, not at 520 US, man. No, I wouldn't go for a 1080 at 520 US. That's all. I'd just wait. Like, I'd just go for it. You know, go on eBay and go on your local eBay site and just look for some bids. Like, you can look for buy it nows. Try and snap up a good buy it now on a GPU. Like even a 1070 for say $300 would be a lot better. It'd be a massive upgrade from a 660. But you can wait for those deals to come up. GTX 1070 in your local currency, 300 USD, 350 USD, maybe max. That's what you should be targeting, max. So what's happening on August 4th? August 4th is the Ethereum, the day of reckoning for miners. So hopefully that is the day of reckoning. I'm hoping that's the catalyst. I just feel like there's going to be a catalyst soon that's going to start things. It's going to get the buck rolling. Bryan, there's a RX 580 8GB for about 270 Aussie dollars on Umart. Do you think it would be worth it if it goes in stock? Yeah, so Umart, basically I'll show you guys that. Umart will leave, essentially what Umart will do is they'll leave older prices. Umart will leave older prices on their site. So if you go RX 580 8GB, they'll probably leave, that's just like these are all legacy prices, man. And that's sort of like an indication of what pricing used to be. Are you going to get back to that pricing? I don't think so. So that's sort of one thing to consider. I mean, if it comes back in stock, yeah. I mean, people are going to buy that thing at 239 Aussie dollars any day, all day. But got to remember the components going into an RX 580, the PCB costs, the components, the solder, all that stuff, all these components are going up because of inflation. And it doesn't matter what the governments are telling you there's only 1%, like in Australia, oh, we've only got 2% inflation. It's absolute garbage. Those inflation numbers that they're giving us are absolute garbage. Prices are going up and it's going to cause uncertainty, and uncertainty can come in many ways. You can have a graphics card going one day for $700, the next day for $1,400. It all depends. That's how hard inflation hits. It creates uncertainty. It strangles not just supply, but here's the most important thing. It strangles demand as well. Never forget that. When we go through bouts of high inflation, you essentially have, that's why the word stagflation comes into play, because both, like, you just got this massive mess in the market. And so what happens there is volatility picks up. Price stability becomes a thing of the past. So never forget that. Never forget that. So if you're waiting for a GPU, and if you're waiting and you're patient, you wait for that little lull. You wait for that low period. So yeah, Jerry on Marriott, exactly. That's what they're saying in Australia. It's like 2 or 3, like, oh guys, we're at 2% inflation. It's like, what? Have you seen rent? The price of rent's gone up at least 10% in the last year. Where's that? Where's that in the inflation numbers? So like the way they're doing the inflation numbers is just absolutely insane. And they don't even, it was funny. I was in the bottle-o because it was my old man's 70th birthday the other day. And so I was buying him a heap of grog for his birthday. And we were in the bottle-o, and I noticed, buying him the whiskey, I noticed they had dropped the standard 750ml bottles now. They're now 700ml. So, you go to buy some whiskey now, you're getting 50ml less. And this is one thing. And now they'll probably put that into, like, I was just down the bottle-o, right? And I'm like, wow, okay. No one's talked about the fact that the whiskey bottle's gone from 750ml to 700ml. There's a drop in the amount of alcohol you're actually getting for the price you're paying. But of course, if they kept the price the same, they'd be like, oh, there's no inflation here on alcohol. Yet there is, because you're getting less for the money that you're paying. And they call that shrinkflation. My man, I just know this man listens to Peter Schiff. I love Peter Schiff, man. You should listen to a lot of guys out there that just tell you some real, like, what's happening, and not like, there's a few, George Gammon's really good as well. Mike Mahoney. There's a heap of good guys out there that give you real good information on how the world is really working versus how people want you to think the world is working. Because you can see it. At the end of the day, you turn around, you go down the supermarket, you can see the things unfolding right in front of your very eyes. G'day, mate. Quick story. Under warranty, I got an upgrade from a 1080 Ti to a 2080 Ti to a 3070. Should I sell it and get the 3080 Ti? If you can get the price, like if you can get the 3070, if you get good money for it, sell it, and then wait for a decent, like wait for a little lull. I mean, it depends on how long you can sort of pace out your time period for, because I've seen good prices. I saw a 3060 Ti go locally for $900. So that's Aussie. So that would be about $700 US. I've seen people sell 3070s for $1,600 Aussie. So you can see there's massive differences between the prices from week to week. So depending on if you get lucky, you can get a good deal. And that's what it's all about. Like, this is what the environment, that's what I've noticed with the used parts hunts. You just got to be lucky. So if you're patient and you go hard enough, you'll be able to do it. So the problem is, and that's the thing, and you got the regular PC hustlers. Like, if there's regular PC hustlers locally here, the uncertainty means they're going to slow down sales. So if they're doing it as a full-time job, they're going to have slower sales, slower turnover. So they're probably going to go look for more work, and then they're going to drop out of the market. That's just a natural thing for that said person to do. So remember, inflation isn't a good thing, despite what they tell you. Inflation's not good at all. So if you've got shrinkflation, go see your doctor. Well, the economy, well, in that case, the economy needs to see the doctor. We got to get the guys on the Reserve Bank and all the guys in government to go see the doctor then, because that's a huge case of it. Bro, my local HSP is now $14. Used to be $13.50. What a scam. Exactly, man. My price of salmon sushi, dude, price of salmon sushi went from $3.50 to $4. That is a scam. Oof. A 3060 Ti for $600. I feel ripped off buying a 3070 Ti for the win at 800 MSRP when I could have got a 3080 instead if it was in stock. Yeah, I mean, don't feel too bad about it. I mean, at the end of the day, though, if you can hustle in the scene, and you can make, like, this is why I show people. Like, I love showing people how to turn trash into treasure, because if you can put together a PC that's worth $400 for $200, you can make your $200 profit, and then you can use that profit to go buy the things that you like. And so that's one of the things that I love about what I do here. I mean, I'm not going to like bloat, but one of the things I love that I do here is that I like to show people how they can get the things that they like. And I know, like, locally here, I know like 16-year-old kids that are really just like, they're killing it, man. They've got like a RTX 3080 in their main rig. They've got ultra wide screens because they know how to hustle. Like, they know they've switched on. I mean, when I was 16, I was just still figuring out how to overclock an Intel on a crappy Intel cooler, and the thing would overheat and shut off, and I'd be scratching my head. Like, there wasn't really, back when I was 16, there wasn't really the used hustle market as there is now. And there's opportunities now. There's a lot, I guess there's a lot more people in the market for PC gaming than there was 19 years ago. So there's a whole healthier market now, which means you can pick up better deals and you can put together magic. In 2008, I worked at a shop. Smith's Chips kept the same sized bag and the same price, but they lowered the grams. No one noticed. Exactly. And that's what's been happening. That's what's been happening, baby. I was switched on to that. Like, I was at the start of the year, like my friend's a baker, and he was telling me too. One thing to be careful of as well, this is another thing, is they'll use cheaper ingredients. So they'll keep the price of, they'll keep the grams the same. They'll keep the bun price the same. They'll give you 6 buns in a pack, a 6-pack. But then what they'll do is the ingredients they're using to make those buns, they're cheaper now. They're cheaper ingredients, so that it might taste a little bit different. And so you've seen this in all sorts of markets. Chickens is a perfect example over decades of what's happened with chickens. Chickens used to taste completely different. Chickens are now, like, a lot of people will say, the taste of a chicken now is way different to what it was in the 1920s or 1930s or whatever. So that's a funny thing. I'd love to try an old school chicken, because the only chicken I've ever known is the hormone inflated chickens that are selectively done to reproduce big chickens. Anyway, Ahmed Anasian, he's donated MAD. He's MAD 50. What's a MAD 50? That's an interesting currency. Thanks for the MAD, bro. That's a MAD donation. Yo, Brian, love your channel. What do you think of the MSI A850GF? We will check that out for you, brother. I have to check it out, and then I'll let you know. The A850 MSI A850GF. Okay, there is one here. Oh, is that a power supply? Okay. It's a power supply. Looks like a lot of people have bought it. I mean, the 750GF's got some really good reviews. I mean, I would look for a bad review. Let's see if someone's... one thing I always look for, if I don't really know what the power supply is, I always look for the negatives and see what someone didn't like about it. See, all these 5-star reviews is just like, yeah, I got it, man, it works. I switched it on, it's beautiful. But let's have a look at what someone's critiquing it about. This is the GF. So I'll give you a quick opinion. So after I really wanted to like this power supply module, flat cables, 10-year guarantee from a reputable brand. However, there was one very annoying problem. As soon as the power supply was plugged into a wall socket, It emitted a constant, so yeah, so someone got a fault. That's a faulty power supply. Just that must have passed through the tests, and that's unfortunate. So, yeah, if you get, you got warranty on it though. That's just one of that. Like, that's not MSI's bad. If you, I'd go on MSI if there was something right, but that's not like you buy any new product, you still run the risk of it being faulty. That's just like, I've bought tons of new parts, and there is a failure rate on new parts as well, so you can't hate them for that. I may have gotten a bad apple, but yeah, straight up I would not recommend. Unit cause sparks on my motherboard. Man, this guy's like, okay, so I'd say, like, look, this, I've read reviews like this. I mean, the sparks one's very worrisome. Like, damn, okay. I mean, look, okay, after reading that, honestly, just go for a Seasonic, a core. I'd just go for a C. If you got that money for a power supply, just go for a Seasonic, an Antec, yeah, Superflower, they're really good. I'd just go for more of the traditional power supplies than after sort of, man, the Sparks one really did it for me, eh? It's like, for a 10-year warranty on a power supply to even spark up to begin with, that's a bit of a weird one. Okay, so Richard Angeline, $5, $5 from Richie from Phillip, PA, USA. Thanks, brother. Thanks for the donation. So we got the sparks there on the power supply. Shout out. That's it. Bitcoin is 40,000 again. Really? Damn. Okay, is this the final furlong before? Could this be Bitcoin's final furlong before the rug pull? Yeah, so this is the final. That's institutional money, and I guarantee you, even the what happens here is, since things are like, I guarantee you, let's check out Theta, my favorite overpriced bubble in crypto. Let's check out Theta. I guarantee you Theta's moving in a similar notion. Yep. So there it is there. That's institutional money. Can't wait. Oh, wow. Okay, perhaps not. Okay, Theta was moving kind of on the 7-day. It was moving up. Okay, my favorite overpriced crypto has had the movement. Went down to $3.60. My favorite overpriced crypto has gone up to $6.50. That hasn't sort of followed that suite. Okay, so there's consolidation perhaps in Bitcoin. Okay, people are putting their faith in Bitcoin. That is consolidation. That's institutional money going into Bitcoin and Bitcoin alone. Okay, that's what you can read the numbers. So if you look at the numbers, you can read all these supply and demand curves will show you that there's perhaps raw demand going into Bitcoin. So just be careful though. Be careful out there investing in anything. So always be careful. Look at that, $17,000 Aussie in 10 days. Yikes. That's some real big money moving around, sloshing around. Guys like you and me, if you bought a Bitcoin, you know how much you would move the market if you bought one Bitcoin. You probably wouldn't even move this $1. So the fact that someone moved this $17,000 means that someone has invested a lot of money into Bitcoin in the last 4 days. Now that same person, if they've got relatively low fees or if they've got no fees, they could just as easily pull it out. So always be very careful with crypto. So it was a short squeeze. Okay. Yeah, it could be that as well. It could be a short squeeze. Because yeah, that was whatever this price action was here in the last few days was mainly on Bitcoin. That was really on Bitcoin. I mean, Ethereum. Whoa, Ethereum's moved as well, pretty much in tandem. So institutions like Ethereum and like Bitcoin. So that's like big money in single bets. That's what that means. This is big money in single bets going into Ethereum and Bitcoin. That right there is price control. They're the people who control the price of Ethereum and Bitcoin. So just keep that in mind. When you look at this price movement, that's not the mum and dad sending this up. $700. That's someone with big pockets sending the prices of Ethereum and Bitcoin up. So, and again, I don't, and remember with rich people, do you think someone with that much money wants the average person to get rich? No. The average person, they want to take money off the average person and send them broke. So if you buy into this crypto after the fact that some big and rich investor has pumped the price up. I just think statistically, you're going to lose money. You should have bought it when it was down here. But anyway, I wouldn't have bought it. I'd buy it when it's back down to $600 again. So that's when if you were going to buy Ethereum. Look at this massive institutional wave of money just pushing through here. So, damn. And I mean, a lot of it has to do with the Bitcoin structure, in that Bitcoin's still the main coin on a lot of these exchanges. A lot of money that gets changed hands into crypto goes through Bitcoin, creating, in ways, it kind of creates artificial demand for Bitcoin. So, gotta love people who think crypto will be the new fiat. $1,700 change in 1 week. Yeah. It's like, that's insane, right? That kind of price action is just monstrous. And look at that too. So that's what you got to fear as well. So be very, very careful if you're buying this stuff. Send Bryan some Bitcoin. No, don't send me Bitcoin. Send me, if you're going to send me anything, send me a coin like Zencash. Send me some Zencash. That's completely private. And this is the thing about Bitcoin. Why is no one talking about Bitcoin? Like, the Bitcoin itself, right, is like, okay, so with Bitcoin, the governments can see, everything's on a public ledger. So how's it giving you privacy? I thought one of the biggest things about crypto was meant to be complete privacy. You didn't want the governments knowing how much money you had or what you're spending it on. Bitcoin literally just shows the government everything. So I know Zencash, for example, has the it's called the ZK Snarks, Zero Knowledge Protocol. So if you wanted to send me crypto, send me some Zencash. Don't send me Bitcoin. Anyway, I got a 980 Ti. You reckon they stop the drive support? 980 Ti, like 900 series, they probably won't stop that for another year and a half. Just look at the trajectory of when they release the 7 series and then when they release the 9 series. That'll give you a rough idea of they make cards legacy as time goes on. 6 and 7 series getting legacied means that, you know, they're old now, right? They're like 8 years old. So Kepler came out, was it 2000? When did Kepler come out? So GTX 670 launch date. When was that? Kepler came out in 2012. Yeah. Okay. So 2012. So 9 years later, that's not too bad. The card had a good run. So when did the GTX 960 launch date? Or just something like that. GTX 960 came out in 2015. So probably got another 2 years, maybe another 2 years left in the 900 series. Why is everyone shunning silver? No one's shunning it. Like, what's going on with silver price? No one's shunning silver. No one's shunning silver at all. I don't think people are shunning silver. Yeah, that's just someone trying to drop the price down. That's just institutional money trying to drop the price down. Again, when it comes to silver, when you got precious metals, the good thing about them is sooner or later, precious metals, the good thing about them is that you can't print them. Sure, you can manipulate the price in the short term, but sooner or later, let's have a look at silver price actually, just to give you guys a little bit. You can probably see a trend if you look at the silver price in the long term. Let's see if we can pull. I mean, this is weird. Like, who knows where Tech City live stream goes? But I want to pull up a graph of a 30-year. If you were to draw, like, look at this line here, right? So this was the massive, in the 1980s, people lost faith in the currency. That's what they say it was the Hunt brothers, but that's a load of crap, because the price of gold, platinum, all the precious metals followed the exact same trend. So how could the Hunt brothers manipulate silver price that bad when all the other metals saw a similar trend? But anyway, if you look at this general trend here, if you were to put a line through silver, right? Can you see the trend? If you were to put a line through that, can you see that, like, from the 1990s, right? When silver wasn't being talked about much. Can you see this trend that's happening here? If you were to put a line through this, it's going in an exponentially greater curve, right? What's happening here is exponential curve is on its way up. So silver price is only going to go one way. It's just a matter of how much time that exponential curve is going to hit that point of no return. I actually see it happening in the next few years. You can see here the biggest trend. If you look at that massive trend coming through, it's on its way up. Same with all precious metals. So that should give you a scary indicator of what's to come. Like, that's what I'm seeing. When I look at these numbers right now, I just see, if I was to put in my head a massive line through it. Oh, actually, you guys probably can't see it too well. I'll just, because the chat's in the way. Okay, here we go here. If we were to look at this line, you can just see this exponential curve that's starting to come through. If we look at here, it was in the 1990s, it was reached its bottom, and then it's just starting to take off. And so you could see silver potentially at $50 by maybe 2025. And again, like if you're going from month to month, going, oh, why is the price of silver like gone down $2? You're getting way too emotional. Just realize, look at this trend right here and just see what's actually happening. There's a new base being formed at $9 in 2008, a new base being formed at $15 in 2020. So when's the new base going to hit $25? Probably by 2025. But then again, you could go up after that as well. So silver's just, it's to store, precious metals is to store your wealth. If you don't like, and they store wealth, that's what they do. Precious metals are fantastic. So never shun off precious metals. So sooner or later, the truth comes out. So you guys can say like, it doesn't matter if they're manipulated or not. If they're manipulated, it's a good thing. Go buy more because you're getting a discount. That's the best thing about it. Sooner or later, once like again, all these things, it's just a matter of time. Sooner or later, the truth comes out. And that's an age-old saying. You can, I think it was Bernie Madoff, the Bernie Madoff dude. He had the world fooled. When was Bernie Madoff? I mean, how long did his Ponzi scheme last for? Bernie Madoff, Ponzi scheme. How long did it like, wasn't it like 16 years or something? This guy had like so many years. He had a Ponzi scheme going on. We got another mad donation here. Thanks, Ahmed. Even thermal paste is scalped in Morocco. Damn. Okay. So Bernie Madoff. This is a tech live stream and we're talking about good old Bernie Madoff. But he managed to run a Ponzi scheme for just ages, like a long time. And that's what I mean. No one knew. No one knew until the truth came to light. So you can see here, like this is what happens. But just look at the inherent value of an asset. Never shun the inherent value of an asset. Sooner or later, that asset will reach its true potential. Now, your investment with Bernie Madoff, that reached its true potential, right? And that was $0. So the truth will always come out. So if you buy silver and you know silver's a precious metal and it's got its industrial uses and you think it's undervalued right now, then sooner or later it's going to go to its true value. And it doesn't matter what happens. Same with gold. Same with platinum. And so that's why I like platinum. Platinum's my favorite of the metals because I think it's got a lot of future front-running capabilities that are being ignored by the market. I think it's a fantastic metal. But anyway, that's just, I'm probably obviously applying bias there, but Bernie Madoff would have made a great ambassador for some of these cryptocurrencies too. So especially Save the Kids. Let's drop that one on live stream right here. So here we go, guys. Hey guys, come and invest in our cryptocurrency. Save the kids. It's like, yeah, we're gonna save the kids right now. So Bernie Madoff would have made a great, like, I wonder if, at least people would have known in advance. So we need car or cooking vids. Cooking vids, sure. Maybe one time. Anyway, guys, we better round out the live stream because it's we've been live streaming for quite a while now. I think we went live nearly 2 hours live stream, man. This is huge. You guys have been loving the live. You guys are joining in on chat. I think slow mode does work really well. Thanks for the suggestions. We're going to keep slow mode on. That way I can read chat and answer questions a lot easier. And thanks for tuning in so much. Ahmed, he says he's another mad 20. Paid 77% plus the power supply's MSRP. Welcome to Morocco. Oh, damn. What's happened with Morocco? Morocco inflation. I'm just going to check Morocco inflation. Morocco inflation. Okay, Morocco's not too bad. Could be worse. Welcome to Morocco, but things could be worse in Morocco. You know what I mean? Things could be worse in Morocco. So at least the MAD isn't going as crazy as Venezuela. So I know for a fact if you're in Venezuela, you're doing it tough. But Morocco doesn't seem too bad. Rest in peace, save the kids. So any possibility of Ether proof of stake still in 2021? Well, August 4th. August 4th, guys, stay tuned. So we're going to wrap off the stream. We're going to say August 4th. Stay tuned for August 4th because that is when the big mining sort of, they're changing the hard fork to the London. They call it the London hard fork. So that's when some fireworks will happen. Potentially some fireworks will happen. I got a feeling in the next week, some big fireworks could happen. But again, if I'm wrong, then we will just sit back to, I'm just going to go completely stick to used parts and whatever. We got this Ryzen APU as well. That's coming up. But in the next week, I'm expecting some fireworks. If they don't happen, then whatever. We'll sit here and we'll all be like, all right, guys, the drought continues. The drought continues. And we'll just stick to some used bangers and having a bit of fun. Because, yeah, I like that Bryan does crypto and finance streams. I mean, it always ends up there, right? Like at the start, we start off enthusiastic about tech. We talk about the prices, and then it just gets to me just rambling on about. I mean, you guys want it. You guys talk about the crypto prices and stuff. I'm just the reciprocator. I'm just the reciprocator here. You know, people talk, but chat wants to talk about it. Chat wants to go down that alley. Someone wanted to know about the price of silver. So I like silver. I love silver. I love platinum. They're my two favorites. Gold's just your standard gold. Like that's not going anywhere. Gold's good too. But I tune into Tech Your City for good investment. GPU advice. He's a smart guy. Thanks, guys. It's real world investment. I mean, there's going to be like, trust me when I say this, there's a lot of people that are going to go gung ho in the last year. There's a lot of people that I know, some people who have went super gung ho, and they're going to be very disappointed when they can't see their chickens hatch. That's all I'm going to say. And because I've seen it before, this is nothing new. Like 2021 and bubbles are nothing new. Happened in 2000, happened in 2008, and you should be able to see there's another trend that's coming up there, and that is if you had a bubble in 2000 and you had a bubble in 2008, then there's something very wrong with the system. So sooner or later, another bubble's going to pop. And when that bubble pops, it's not going to be pretty. So John Taylor, new member. Thanks, dude. Thanks for joining. Members. We got 2 new members this stream. Awesome. I mean, you get an icon next to your name. Also, I do post up a Patreon. Actually, I'm going to do the Patreon live, the vlog soon as well. So that's coming. That's coming very soon. So stay tuned. But yeah, in the meantime, if you are scared about inflation, precious metals, like especially silver, precious metals are always a good way for a person to store their wealth. And that's period. And that's what I've said to people in the past with, precious metals. The one thing I love about precious metals versus cash, and this is one thing that you'll never be able to say that there's not a bias in favor of precious metals, is that if inflation happens really, like we're talking some serious inflation, like if this inflation that's happening now continues year over year, the price of silver and the price of gold and platinum, they're all going to be higher because the new base prices to mine those metals goes up. It doesn't go down. And I'd say peak efficiency on mining gear as well, it's not getting a whole lot better, despite the promises they make. Labor, shipping costs, container costs, melting the metal down. These are all prices that go up with inflation. So that's why metals are hedged against inflation, because they're a real asset. They have industrial uses. They don't tarnish. Well, silver does, but platinum and gold don't tarnish. And the thing is about them, right, is that they're hedged against inflation due to the fact that it costs a certain amount of money to make those. But when we go over to inflation on currencies, especially fiat currencies, there's no guarantee, right? If inflation happens on a fiat currency, you're not getting back the difference. That's gone forever. If you ask a guy from the 1950s who had $1 in his closet and he pulled that dollar out now, the world doesn't care. The world's moved on. Poor Johnny from the 1950s, his dollar is essentially worth a lot less than it was in the 1950s. In 2021, his dollar can buy him maybe a chomp. If you guys know the chomp chocolate bar, I'll show you. You know, $1 could buy Johnny a chomp chocolate bar. This is what, you know, Johnny can get a Chiquito. He could get a chomp. This is what Johnny could get in 2021 for his dollar. As opposed to in the 1950s, Johnny could probably get 5 meals off, 5 full-fledged meals off that dollar. But if Johnny bought some silver in 1950, he could still buy those same 5 meals. So there's the difference, right? I'm ending the stream soon, but I'm just trying to, like, someone's like, yeah, I thought you were ending. I am ending it very soon, but I'm trying to tell people that metals will always be hedged against inflation, and metals guarantee you the difference in your purchasing power. The governments never guarantee. What they say about inflation, it doesn't matter because they don't guarantee the difference. If inflation happens, they're not giving you a refund. If deflation happens, well, then your silver that you bought is going to be worth more money. It's that simple. Like, the silver is still going to buy the same purchasing power that it had beforehand. So there's the difference, right? The negative is on the side of it's still the same. You're not losing purchasing power if you buy silver now. But if inflation happens, if you got silver, you're getting back that purchasing power. You still get your purchasing power. So there it has. There you have it. That's the difference. If inflation happens on a fiat currency, you're not getting any money back. You lost it. It's gone. Gonskis. Kiss your purchasing power goodbye. So there's the argument for precious metals. Now, in terms of cryptocurrencies, anything that has leveraged purchases on it, when people purchase a certain asset, whether it's a cryptocurrency, a stock, a house, they're borrowing money, and that's essentially leverage. So when you're borrowing money on a leveraged item, it has the potential to lose a lot more money faster, and its value faster than the value of inflation. So that's the difference there. As opposed to precious metals, they'll just lose their value in according to what the purchasing power of the currency is at the time. So there's a big difference. Anyway, that Broman, $5 donation. Thanks. Before I get out of here, I need help. Do I buy a 38 or a 38 Ti now, or wait a month? Please help. Yeah, wait 2 weeks. Just wait 2 weeks. Just wait 2 weeks. Wait 2 weeks. That's all I'll say. Just wait a little bit. You've already waited this long. Wait a little bit more, and you shall be. I believe you shall be rewarded. If not, just buy a 1080 Ti for the used market and forget about the new GPUs. Just protest. That's it. Chomp. Yeah, we got a picture. That's what he gets. That's what the guy from the 1950s. He got 5 or 6 meals out of his dollar. Now he gets a chomp. That's what he gets. And the government don't care about him. The world has left him behind. Johnny from the 1950s, he can now buy a chomp. Unfortunate. So there's your difference, guys. Precious metals gives you one thing. Inflation and currencies gives you another thing. So don't forget that. Don't forget that. Timing. Will the price of silver go up? Inevitably, as long as money supply goes up, yes. So you said before you can't see your son, but that's just an excuse. QRD laws says you can visit someone vulnerable, and vulnerable is not defined. So you could say he's vulnerable to depression. Go see him. Thanks. Hey, I didn't know that. See, no one's explained that to me. I called. Thank you so much. I would donate you some money if I can. Thanks, random. I've tried. I've applied 3 times. I'm applying a 4th time to get an exemption to see my boy. So I need, I called up the Queensland government, Australian immigration. I said, look, what do I need? Can I go see my son? I need to go see my son. They're like, oh, here's the list of things you got to do. I'm like, I've already done that. And they're like, well, we've rejected him. You rejected me. So I just want, I want to go see my boy with a guaranteed method of how to get there. So I will play that hand. Thank you so much, Random, for giving me that advice. So I will go use that. So that is, yeah, I'll let you know if it works. Obviously, you'll see me making some content in Japan. So anyway. All right, guys, I'm going to tune out for now. Thank you all for joining in on this live stream. And I think August 4th coming up sooner than we think. So hopefully that's the big one to get some GPU prices back to normal. So that's what I'm hoping for. Fingers crossed. So going to see Linus in Japan. Knew he lived there. Oh, yeah, that's it. Chris Anderson, that's it. So I'm going to go see Linus in Japan. That's right. He's got a secret base, man. This guy pretends that he lives in Canada, but he really has a secret base in Japan. That's the truth. All right, cross my fingers and pray for you to be able to. Thanks, guys. You guys are awesome. Thanks so much for tuning in. Anyway, guys, I will No flights out. Oh, no, there is flights out. Chris, there is flights. Japan Airlines does 2 or 3 flights a month. So there is flights out of Queensland to Japan. I know that. Jetstar aren't doing flights. So it depends on which airline, but there are a few flights out. So, yeah, so not sure about the overseas law. Oh, okay. Okay, Random. No worries, dude. No worries. Yeah, it's a messy situation that I'm trying to work through. I'm just hoping someone in government can feel my plea. That's all. You know, there's nothing more important than this. None of this matters. This CPU, this RAM, none of this matters, man. If you don't have your family, you know, like it sucks. So that's me at the moment. I'm just in limbo. I'm in tech yes limbo. So anyway, guys, there's no point getting like all those, you know. What about Japanese visa? Yeah, I was 1 year off getting, like, this is the thing, you know, it sucks. I'll tell you one more thing before we get on out of here. One more thing. I was going to apply for my permanent residency in Japan, but I was 1 year off. And I was thinking back then, I'm like, I don't need permanent residency. I can come and go to Japan as I please. Hindsight, man, that was a bad decision. I should have just stayed in Japan for another year, got my permanent residency visa, and I wouldn't have had any of these problems. So, yeah, look, it's just the irony of it, eh? And that's what it says. When know that when I say expect the unexpected, right? That's saying just let that linger in the back, you know. Anything can happen, brothers. Anyway, I will catch you guys in the next live stream very soon. Thank you so much for tuning in. We only had one technical difficulty. The camera didn't cut out. The Canon R6 is doing its magic now. It's working as it should be, but the battery does run out sooner or later, and I've got to figure out how to get another AC adapter so it doesn't cut out. Anyhow, guys, you guys are awesome. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for people who donated, and thanks so much for hitting that like button, hitting that sub button, and I will see you. I mean, how could you possibly predict a global pandemic? I mean, that's what I mean. Yeah, no one can predict. Yeah, future's just so uncertain, right? Future's just so uncertain. But I'm going to get on out of here. I got to charge my batteries. And we've got a ultra clean, PC ultra clean coming up soon, guys. So make sure you stay tuned, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out for now. Big hugs, big love. Sending love all y'all way. Ask any questions you want to, and I'll keep you out. Peace out for now.